Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, everyone. Imagination connoisseurs all around the world. It is I, Robert Meyer Burnett, your viceroy of verisimilitude, your master of fun and wonder, and anything else you want to hang on me. It is time for Midnight Metal episode number 20. Oh, yeah. This is the only show where you can see an old man acting like he's 15. Actually, that's not true. That's actually most of the internet. But you know what? You're doing it with me. Me, that's right. You imagination connoisseurs, you members of this, the Post-Geek Singularity community. Who knew that this show would take off, that people would watch it? But by God, do you. This is episode 20 of Midnight Metal. And this is a show that's about the state of metal in your mind. And you know what that means? That means you're going to have a good time. It means you're having fun. We're coming out of a pandemic and you are ready to party. Like it's 2021. You're not looking back to 1999. I'm a huge Prince fan. Back in 82 when that album came out, man, I couldn't wait to get to 1999. And you know what happened on 1999? Yep, that's right. My film Free Enterprise came out on June 4th. It's no longer June 4th, but it was the same day that Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan opened in 1982, along with the movie Poltergeist. What a Sophie's choice for you movie fans out there. What do you go see? Star Trek II or Poltergeist? Oh my God, it was, for me. To be honest, there was only one choice. You know what that choice was. That's right. It was Star Trek II, The Wrath of fucking Khan. I saw it 4 times that day at the John Dance Theater. But that is not to say that on Saturday morning I did not hop on a bus and shag my ass down to downtown Seattle to the Town Theater to see Poltergeist in 70 millimeter. What can I say? That was a great weekend, wasn't it? Right? Who knew that they were going to be classic films? Summer of 82. My God. 2 months you had Conan, I say this all the time, Conan the Barbarian, Star Trek II, Poltergeist, E.T., Blade Runner, The Thing, The Road Warrior, John Carpenter's The Thing. My God, John Carpenter's The Thing and Blade Runner opened on the same day. Another Sophie's choice, although we didn't know it at the time. Anyway, now it's June 5th, so it's no longer June 4th, and we're here. It's time for some Midnight Metal. I want to say I'm proud of you people. I'm proud of the noise you've been bringing for the last couple of midnight shows. I felt that they were very erudite. We had a lot of good conversation. I know I didn't bring as many of you on as the show as you probably would have wanted. That will change tonight. I'm just gonna have a revolving door of imagination connoisseurs. So you better put your thinking caps on and bring some cogent conversation to the proceedings. Because I want to see some. I want to be stimulated by you people. I want you to blow my mind, if you know what I'm saying. Now, I'm going to tell you something. One of the things I love about the modern age is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Remember, like an airplane in 1980? Hey, aren't you Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? Listen, kid. It's one of my favorite things in any movie ever. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is a novelist. He wrote a book about Mycroft, Sherlock Holmes' brother. The man is an imagination connoisseur. He also writes for The Hollywood Reporter. That's right, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, writes for The Hollywood Reporter. And did you know that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was a staff writer on the recent Veronica Mars series? No lie, I kid you not. How cool does that make Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? He already one of the great basketball players of all time. He's even that much cooler because he wrote for Veronica Mars. But he also writes editorials in The Hollywood Reporter. And he wrote one today that I want to share with you because I liked it. I want to know what you think. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar says, just what are award shows awarding? Amen. By Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. This is this morning. This is what he says. This is what Kareem says. The Golden Globes and the Grammys have taken devastating public hits recently about their relevance as avatars of cultural appreciation. Are these coveted awards truly champions of new and innovative voices in their respective arts, or do they build that wall to protect only conventional notions of what art is and to silence the alternative cultural voices they wish to ignore? With NBC bowing out of the Globes in 2022 and Tom Cruise returning his 3 trophies because of a lack of diversity and other questionable practices, the Hollywood Foreign Press Association has been forced to issue new guidelines, which have already been called window dressing platitudes. After The Weeknd accused the Grammys of being corrupt and Elton John sided with him, the Recording Academy also changed its nomination process. The question is whether it's enough. Or is there a deeper political and social bias in the infrastructure of recognizing art? This is a very good question Kareem is asking here. Spoiler alert, he says, yes, there is. You know what I think art needs? Say it with me now. You know what art needs? It needs to be more fucking metal. That's what it needs. More metal. You know something is fundamentally corrupt in an organization when it takes this much public pressure, not just to instigate change that's been demanded for years, but for them to even acknowledge there might be a problem. It's not like they woke up yesterday to the realization that there are severe inequities in society and that they have the power to address some of those inequities. They just prefer to pretend otherwise. Public pressure is the only thing to push these organizations to change, then they aren't doing it out of a sudden awareness of their cultural conscience. They're doing it because they're fighting for financial survival. Yes, that's true too. Of those awards organizations, only the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences made significant progress since its 2016 #OscarsSoWhite debacle, when all 20 nominations in the acting categories went to white performers for the second year in a row. As I wrote in a recent Hollywood Reporter column, the Oscars got it right this year, with noms that embraced a diverse group of artists and voices. Now, we have to be wary of the Obama effect, the belief that now we've proved that we aren't racist by electing a black president, we can go back to being racist by suppressing black voters. Social enlightenment, like democracy, requires eternal vigilance. I would say this, Kareem, you know what? I'm a meritocratist. I don't care what color people are. I just want to award the best work. And you know what? I always say, every person you meet has a story to tell, just like all performers give great performances. And I think that it really shouldn't matter at all. The fact that we make any kind of delineation in terms of skin color is problematic. I think it's problematic. What we should be interested in is recognizing great work. And great work is done across a wide spectrum of all kinds. And I don't think we should ever be diverse for diversity's sake. I think we should be interested in awarding great performances and great art. You just said in this article that art is the important thing, and there's great art everywhere. The problem is we're not looking hard enough. We have to cast a wider net. We have to look at all peoples, everybody gets a shot. But I do agree. Social enlightenment, like democracy, requires eternal vigilance. We must be better. Part of the corruption lies in the purpose of giving awards for art forms that are also multi-million-dollar businesses. By the way, this is why I want to read the article, because I love this point. We'd be naive if we didn't recognize that the main goal of these awards is not to celebrate the best and brightest, but to sell product. But that doesn't mean we can't do both. Amen, Kareem. Who gets awarded translates into a major career boost that can mean millions of dollars. Awards recognition for movies, songs, plays, and books can bump sales and launch careers. That kind of fiscal clout makes itself vulnerable to powerful influences that wish to benefit from a well-placed award. That kind of power also carries the ability to promote the voices of marginalized people to the point where they become less marginalized. That is not a request for preferential treatment or a quota system, but of making a true and sustained effort to stop excluding people whose experiences and art form may be different. Amen. Amen. Let me read that again. This is not a request for preferential treatment or a quota system, but of making a true and sustained effort to stop excluding people whose experiences in art form may be different. Cast a wide net. There's so much great works out there, works and voices that don't get recognition. We need to look harder. I agree. In basketball, it's easy to determine who the best team is, the one that scores the most points. But judging art requires a set of criteria that is supposed to be objective but never is. In the best of all possible worlds, all art would be judged blindly without any knowledge of anything about the artists, their gender, their ethnicity, their anything. Amen. Then we could evaluate a work based solely on its merits. But this ain't that world. We all bring our personal preferences, tastes, and biases when we judge. Yet we have a right to expect those who form a jury, whether judicial or in the arts, to at least make heroic efforts to be fair in their verdict. I sometimes look at lists of best-selling recordings and I realize I don't recognize a few of the artists. I sometimes see a news article about a celebrity I've never heard of. But if I'm tasked to vote on the best movie, actor, or song, I would make sure I've seen or heard every one of them. Not just the ones that feed my personal preferences and biases. Kareem, you're speaking the truth, sir. Award shows will always be controversial because good artists will lose to other good artists. Put a Picasso next to a Dali, next to a J.M.W. Turner, and who gets Best Artist Award? That's fun controversy when we can argue about worthy opponents, championing our favorites, but also not being mad at who won. Unless you fail to even include black artists like Jean-Michel Basquiat, or Jacob Lawrence, or Lena Iris Victor. It goes from fun controversy to furiously frustrating when the awards deliberately exclude worthy people based on lack of familiarity, or because they exist outside the judge's comfort zone. I've been saying that about science fiction, fantasy, and horror films for years. Just saying. Art enhances society by bringing us closer, by articulating our hopes and despairs, by making us see who we really are and who we could be. Awards have the power to publicize great artists, both popular and obscure, to expand the boundaries of what art is, how it is expressed, and who expresses it. Salvador Dali said, quote, "A true artist is not one who is inspired, but one who inspires others." If the Golden Globes, Grammys, and Oscars want to remain relevant, they need to recognize that those who inspire and need inspiring may not look, speak, or create like them. Amen, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. He is an NBA Hall of Famer and the league's all-time leading scorer, and he is a recipient of the Presidential Medal of Freedom and a columnist for The Hollywood Reporter. Follow him at KAJ33 or visit KareemAbdulJabbar.com. Man, I love that guy. He had a lot of wise words to say about art, and I agree with Kareem. Hashtag fuck yeah. Anyway, I wanted to read that article. I always want to start people like, Rob, when you read articles, it's just kind of like Robservations. No, man, I'm into it. I do it in a different way. I do it in a more metal way. So, is that okay? Galette Productions sends in a super chat and says, "Is this a call-in show?" It is. Can you call in? You can. But not yet. It's kind of like what Jaimon Hansu says at the end of Gladiator. Not yet. I got to get my yayas out. But yeah, there's a call-in show. I get 2 people at a time to call in because it is, after all, midnight metal, and that's what the show's all about. There's 126 of you here right now, live. Are we not having a good time? By the way, Tony Reyes on the 700 episode of Robservations won the 4K Steelbook, which is a much better looking version of Zack Snyder's Justice League, thanks to the lovely Emma Bannon, who made sure that I had this to give away on the 700th show. And unlike every other gift I've given away on the show, Elizabeth is going to make sure these are mailed. Also, those of you who are waiting, I'm looking at you, Justin Toner, but I know you're not here, that you're looking for your African Kung Fu Nazis disc. Well, that's coming too. So Tony Reyes says, "Rob, I didn't get a chance to congratulate you on your 700th episode earlier. Looking forward to your 1,000th episode." Bruh, that's 300 episodes from now. My God, but I appreciate that. I bet that's going to be a party. Yes, it is. To you and Mr. Dave Parker, as the metal song goes, have a drink on me. Well, I'll have a drink on you, sir. Tony, I'm happy to oblige. So, yes, indeed, welcome to Midnight Metal episode 20. Tomorrow night, Dave Parker will be back. We might have a very special guest. Who knows? That's one of the great things about the show. You just never know who's going to come on. And that's the kind of party we throw here. So I'll tell you what, party people, because someone is asking already, Galliette Productions wants to know, can you call in? Or it could be her, but I think Galliette's probably him. I don't know. I'm going to be dropping, look, as you all know, I dropped the live link. You can jump on the show when I drop the live link into the live chat, which is coming shortly, which I'm going to do. But it's first come, first serve, and I would ask that you have a decent internet connection, a good microphone, good camera, and if you've already been on the show, maybe hang back for a minute and let somebody new come on. You never know what's going to happen. We've had a bunch of good people this week. My God. Fantastic. Stephanie Littlepage sends in a super chat and says, "Hi there." Hello, Stephanie. Captain Robert April, the first captain of the Starship Enterprise. I know, he's not really anymore but of the Constitution class Enterprise. And by the way, that's fucking canonical. Don't tell me, oh, Rob, that was only in the animated series, the 22nd episode of the Star Trek series, the Counterclock incident, where we actually... I don't care. Robert April was the first captain of the Constitution class Enterprise. You can all take a flying leap if you don't believe me. It's true. So Stephanie says, "Hi there. Captain Robert April has been interviewed for a job with a local media company, and hopefully we'll hear something soon. Fingers crossed." I cross my fingers for you, Stephanie, and Captain Robert April. Let's hope you don't find yourself aging backwards. Although that to be honest, that might be kind of cool. I mean, I would like to go back to being 22 and have. I wouldn't want to be 22 the whole time. I think if I became a vampire and became immortal, if I was bitten, I'd kind of want to be. I would push it maybe even 42. I'd go life, the universe, and everything. The answer to it all. 42, mid 40s maybe, because then you're seasoned enough. People take you seriously, but you're not too young where you're kind of stuck. I don't know. That's just me. Who knows? So there you go. Yeah, Tom Jr. Jackson says the animated series counts. Fuck yeah, it does. Yes, it does. I don't care. People who say it's not canonical, I don't like you people. I'm not fans of you. Star Trek the Animated Series is great. Sure, the animation isn't. I understand. Well, okay, I know. People are chomping at the bit to come on the show. Here you go. Dropping it in the live chat. Don't disappoint me. Make me proud. Here, in fact, is the link. So do your worst. It's up. Let's see what's going on. By the way, if you think you're going to come on the show and show me your junk, I mean, that might be interesting. I'd look. But that doesn't mean you're going to get on the show, because there's a delay. I can make people come on or not. It's not quite live. There's a delay. So I'm not going to let you up. Let's see. Andy is here. Is this Andy who we met? Andy all the way from Argentina, Andy? It is. It's Argentina, Andy. Hang on. Argentina, Andy, how are you? Oh, you can't hear me yet. He's going to put on Argentina. Andy is a very loquacious dude. And Andy, can you hear me? I can hear you. Would you like to come on Midnight Metal? Oh, look what we got. This is going to be a hell of a conversation. So now Andy is coming at us all the way from Argentina, from Buenos Aires. And of course, now that I've let him on the show, I expect him to go see Tango Shalom, which is playing at the Buenos Aires International Film Festival. And you know what? You know who's going to convince him to go see Tango Shalom at the Buenos Aires Film Festival? Our favorite. Now, I got some information about and I want to find out if it's correct, because I was like, this is pretty extraordinary information. So let me drop some people into this show. Well, let's get this party started. And Andy is a very loquacious man. I quite enjoyed talking with him the other night on the show. So just give me a minute while I put him in. I'm going to put him in coach, just like. Wait, hang on. Let me get you centered, Andy. Are you feeling metal tonight, Andy? That's what I want to know. Okay. Wait. Oh, fucking tastic. Andy is feeling heavy metal tonight. What about you? Are you feeling it metal yourself? Oh, I can hear you. I can hear you. Oh, yes. Can I hear you? That's like Papa, can you hear me? Is that like some Yentl shit? Come on, a little Barbra Streisand action. You know what I'm talking about. All right, well, let me add you two both. Please welcome Andy from Argentina and our favorite from the East Coast, somewhere on the East Coast.
Hi.
Welcome to Midnight Fucking Metal. Now, Andy, please tell me what you just told me. Andy, are you feeling metal tonight?
I'm feeling fucking metal.
That's right, man. And are you feeling metal?
So metal. Oh,
Look at that.
yes,
You got a
very metal.
Andy's rocking the Slayer. Look at that.
I
Yeah.
love Slayer.
Who doesn't? By God. All right, so let me ask you this. Here's an easy question to start with. So do you guys think that it's possible to award art? Should art be awarded? Should there be award shows giving art awards, picking one artist over another? What do you think?
I
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I do think there should be, and I watch PBS. I've watched PBS my whole life, and I've seen and been exposed to art, thankfully, because of that fantastic channel. Seeing all different types of artwork, not just paintings, but performance art. Yes, there should be awards for it, and let's be honest. So many creators are inspired by other creators, whether it's something that they see in a museum or whether it's something they see on television. We get inspiration from one another, so there should be awards for things like this. Yes.
What about you, Andy?
Yeah, I believe the same way John Campia says, I think it's fair to reward excellence. You know what I mean? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
Okay.
you. I agree with that.
So my point is that if we don't have a show, I don't know if a show is needed, but to recognize somebody who's excellent, maybe because he worked his ass off or her ass off or their ass off, I believe that's fair. And I think that's okay. I mean, if I do something and I feel proud about what I did, and then there's some recognition about it, I will be willing to get it. I mean, it's just a matter of if somebody care about that award, then you should be able to get it if you care about it. I mean, I don't know, because also art is subjective, right? So I don't know. It's a matter of
Don't get me
opinion
started on this,
sometimes.
Andy. Don't get me
I
started.
know.
Art is not just... Look, our opinion of art is
Our
subjective.
opinion is subjective. Art
But
could be objective depending
I
on
do
the
think
excellence.
there's...
All right,
Yes,
all
I know.
right,
I
all
love
right.
the fact... By the way, you know what I learned about Andy the other night, I got to say, is Andy has watched a lot of both the John Campea show. He knows his shit. Like, if there was
Absolutely.
ever a Robservations historian... I am bequeathing, I've got the official cheesemonger of this channel. That's Kaz Graphics. We've got Julius Goodwin, who's the official sommelier of this channel. We've got Claudius. Claudius and Candida are the official couple of this channel. You, Andy, I'm making you the official historian of the Burnettwork, of Robservations. Because
I'll take that. Take that.
You know your shit. Now, okay,
Thank you,
Andy...
man.
I got to ask some questions here. I got some questions for you.
Oh,
That's fine.
Is
okay.
it true? Is it true that you have doctorates?
I don't have doctorates. I have master's degrees. I have several of them.
That's what I heard. Okay, not doctorates. I figured.
Now, who did you hear this from?
You know what?
Who did you?
You know what? I'm like Lord Varys in Game of Thrones. I have my little birds, my little sparrows out there getting me information. Now, I've also heard you're a filmmaker.
Yes, I am. As I mentioned before, it's mostly autobiographical work that I focus on, and I am in the process of making a film. But I kind of like have a bit of a dilemma with it because it is part of like the Star Wars IP, and I've never made a film that focuses on a particular character in an IP before. So I feel
Neither
very
have I.
limited as to what I can say.
Yeah, I don't know
I'm sorry.
I don't know anything about working in other people's IPs.
Yeah, and then I thought, so but I'm doing it anyway. I've actually filmed half of it because
Sorry.
it's
You
okay.
know,
I've actually filmed most of it already because I did it over 2020, and it looks really good. It's just that I don't know how to, like, once, let's say you do make something about an IP, but you kind of want to put it out there. It's Someone had mentioned to me that I should contact Echo Base Network because they tend to work with the Star Wars IP a lot, and maybe they would know how to present a film that really is about Star Wars or something like that. So
you actually they're pretty amenable to that as long as you're not making any money off of it. You can put it out and you just put a disclaimer saying that it's all the copyrights are owned by Disney and Lucasfilm.
yeah.
You can
Okay,
do
good,
that.
because it needs to be made. It needs to be made, and it's because it was something that I feel is very important and represents a community of people who we're aware of. But it's just that I feel like a movie needs to be made about it because it was something that happened so quickly and meant so much to so many people that that I want to document it. So
Did you make a movie about Figurin Dan and the Modal Nodes, the band that's in the cantina in Mos Eisley in the first Star Wars movie? Because I think that biopic needs to be made. I'm waiting to have the Cantina Band, their life story. Oh, you froze. Well, Andy, let me ask you. Tell me about. We were talking about art. We'll come back. She'll reconnect. So, Andy, what about art? You were now that you're the official historian of the Burnettwork. I don't know what that has to do with art, but.
Don't worry. I think that when you speak about art, about being objective, and all that you said against camping, which is fine because everyone has his opinion about it, if it's subjective or objective, okay. But what I mean is, I think that the craftsmanship, the making a movie, and you have to follow some rules to make a movie, and you have to follow some rules to make art. That could be objective because you have rules there that you have to follow. For example, if we have like to make a movie, you need a certain camera with a certain lens and a certain DP and to handle light and all that, and you make that to perfection because people can see everything perfectly and the image is great and all that. That is objective. That is something that can be quantifiable. You know what I mean?
I agree.
But then if you make a joke in a story, and that joke is funny for some people and it's not funny for some other people, then that's subjective. Because that's the telling of the story who can, connect with some people one way and some other people the other way. So maybe the telling of the story could be something subjective for the opinion of the people who's watching or who's listening to the story. But the making of the art could be objective depending on the rules of making certain art. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's pretty much the same thing for music. I made sound. I'm into music. I'm a composer. I didn't tell you last time that I've been playing guitar for 17 years. So I play the guitar, I compose, I make music, and now I mix music and make my own music. Now, when you make music and you mix sound, it's not like you can do anything, whatever, and it's the same. You have to follow some rules. You are making art. You are making art, but you have to follow some rules so people can absorb it. If you make it whatever because it's subjective, so you can do whatever, people are not going to be able to appreciate because you did whatever. You didn't follow the rules. So you need a good signal, a good sound. You have to make sure that everything can be heard, if that's your point, and then people can consume it, and then they can give an opinion about it. But if you don't do your job the right way, following the rules about something that you want to do, then people won't be able to even give an opinion, because you made whatever, you created your own rules, and what you did is maybe objectively shit. You know what I mean?
Right. Hey, listen, Andy, we were just joined by Parker Edger, someone who has not been on the show before, so I just wanted you to know that he's here. Parker, well, can you hear me?
I can hear you, buddy. How you doing?
Well, I'm doing good. The question to you, Parker, is, are you feeling fucking metal tonight, Parker?
I'm feeling pretty fucking metal tonight, man. Like,
fuck
this
yeah!
Is the first time on the show, man. I'm like a big fan of yours.
Oh, well, thank you. That's I hope by the end of this evening I'll be a fan of yours, but that remains to be seen, Parker.
Okay, you guys.
It remains to be seen. Let me ask you, where are you coming to us from tonight?
You're gonna love this. It's from Washington.
Where in Washington?
Kirkland.
Kirkland? My favorite comic book store used to be in Kirkland.
Yeah.
Dude, I've got good friends that live in Kirkland. I used to go, man. Kirkland's my mom lives in Bellevue, so it's right down the street.
Speaking of Bellevue, I was actually shooting like 3 short films there last summer, like during COVID. I'm just in my early 20s, and I do a lot of things. I'm a filmmaker. I do SEO work. I have a successful eBay business. I like to hustle, man.
I love it.
As my mentor once said, you could bitch all you want. That's not going to change anything to actually do something about it. So, for me, I've just been hustling since I got out of high school, and been kicking ass ever since. So,
you know what, Parker? This is an inspiring story. I love hearing this, especially people in their younger 20s. It's fantastic. I got to tell you, something unique has happened to me. So I live in a house with 3 girls, which means I don't get to talk much, but except on the internet. That's why I'm here all the time. But I've watched Elizabeth's oldest daughter during COVID. She started her own business, and she's got customers, and she's Insta famous. Working the Instagram, and it's been very enlightening and inspiring to watch her build a business. So kudos to the early 20 entrepreneurs who are out there, like you just said, kicking ass. I fucking love that shit.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's great. And, it's great to have you. Now, I want you to meet Andy. Andy comes to us from Argentina.
Yeah.
Hi, man.
What's up, Andy?
So, Andy, did you kick ass the way Parker kicks ass when you were in your early 20s?
Well, actually, no, but that is not a sad story. It's not a sad story, because actually, I discovered the guitar, to start being creative when I was 23. So, in a way, yes.
Come on, man, that's cool.
But sometimes when somebody starts playing guitar at 23, you say, okay, you're not that young to start playing guitar. Some people start playing an instrument when they're 6 or whatever, you know what I mean? So I start pretty later on. And then I joined bands, and everything was doing okay. I play heavy metal. I mean, that's why I like this show. And
fuck yeah, dude, you play heavy metal. God damn, do you play heavy metal? Yeah.
That's why I show you a Slayer CD, But the thing is that I believe it's never late to discover a creative choice. It's never late. I mean, even if you're 23 or 30, I discovered sound mixing at 38. I've been doing this for 4 years, Rob. I'm not doing this for my whole life. And I think the message here is that it's never too late if you find and you look for something that you might be passionate about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you work hard, you do the job, you work hard, you learn, you have to study, you have to learn the things, you have to do it right. And then it's never too late. So I believe what Parker said is very true. I agree with him. And I also want to add that even if you didn't start everything that you're passionate about when you were 20 or 15, that's okay. You could just keep looking for it, and you'll find it.
Okay,
look, I mean?
That you said, Andy, I totally agree. Let me ask you, Parker.
Yeah.
You're running businesses, you're out there making movies, you're kicking ass, you're doing all this. Would you say that is something that your generation is that something that a lot of people are doing, or would you consider yourself unique with people your own age, like amongst your group of friends?
Actually, a lot of my friends have kind of moved down to LA to go to film school and stuff like that, and I've always been kind of like very. I don't know if I like. I don't know. It's gonna sound weird. I've never really been like a big fan of like going to school for film because I feel like. I mean, like I did this. I'm actually going to be doing this program called Film Connections, where you're sort of like working with like real professionals in the industry, and I've been trying to save up that for months. So I'm thinking
Film Connection in Los Angeles?
Yeah, like there's like all over the whole.
I used to teach there.
Really? Oh my God! Damn. Can you give me a good word of mouth, please?
Well, I haven't done it in a while, but it's actually a pretty good program because what they do is they hook you up with a mentor. It's like a one-on-one program, and it was, at least when I was there, it was based out of LA Center Studios.
Yeah,
and it's I mean, not only can you go to school there, you can hang out and like go on to sets. Like that's where Mad Men was shot, for instance, the TV show.
Oh, nice.
They've shot, if you go down to LA Center Studios, and I don't know if it's still based out of there, but you walk around and you're like, oh my God, I've seen 10,000 movies shot here. And so there's always something going on. It was interesting. I mean, it was a good program, and I even shot a pilot. I directed a pilot that the head of the Film Connection was actually in. It didn't sell, but it was a lot of fun. It was called The Mentor. Yeah, it'd be funny. Cool. I should send you the pilot. You'll be like, yeah, man, I watched your pilot, The Mentor. It'd freak him out. He'd be like, what?
No, that's okay. That'd be cool. Yeah. So like, I'm gonna probably be doing that instead of film school, but I'm just kind of like doing my 2-year business degree right now, just getting that thing settled up, and also I'm just trying to get that. So my plan for the Film Connection stuff is sort of finish up these next 2 short features I'm working on. I'm actually shooting one of them tomorrow. It's called Doodle. It's going to be really fun. It's something I've been working on since February, and I'm trying to get off the ground there. And there's been a couple of like production issues here and there, but I finally got the cast and crew ready to go. I got the set right here. You're actually like sitting in the set right over here. I got all these creepy pictures everywhere. It's going to be pretty fun. And I got this other one, which is based on a personal story of somebody lost in COVID, called Lily Behind. It's about...
Uh-oh. Parker froze too. I don't know what to say. I don't know. Maybe the middle square is unlucky, Andy. So let me ask you this, man.
About this woman who...
Oh, no. You're back. We lost you for a minute there, Andy.
Okay. I can hear him.
Oh, I couldn't hear him.
Was that going to happen to me? Like,
I don't know. No, we still got you. So tell us the story. So about somebody you lost during COVID. Somebody you lost or somebody you knew?
Somebody I knew who lost in COVID. He took it really deeply, and it really inspired me to make that. And I hope this kind of brings closure to that. And I know it sounds kind of cynical when I say it out loud, but it's a really good script of mine. I'm pretty happy about it. And I hate to be like piling up theirs, but there's this another script I worked on called What Happened, Darlin'. It's about this mysterious thriller. It's about like it's a whodunit kind of short feature where this woman like has been out of this abusive relationship and her husband was killed, and it's a very like creepy untangled story there. So it's a lot of stuff there, but I know it's gonna cringe a lot of artists. But my main thing I've always wanted to do is direct like a superhero feature, and that's the thing I want to get to eventually.
Now let me ask you this. Do you want to direct like a DC or Marvel superhero feature, or do you want to create your own? Because I'll tell you something. I saw a low-budget indie superhero film called Fast Color that is pretty interesting. Would you create your own, or do you want to make like the next Captain America movie?
You know what? If I'm gonna go with superheroes, I'm gonna probably go with Marvel, man. I know there's been like a lot of mixed feelings about Kevin Feige over the last couple months, but I don't know. He just seems like a really down.
Dude, Kevin Feige's a genius. The people, come on. I mean, William Goldman, the great screenwriter, says nobody in Hollywood knows anything. I have an addendum to that. Nobody in Hollywood knows anything except Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
Why mixed feelings? Because of the thing with Doctor Strange, that thing with I forgot about the character Doctor Strange. That's the case with Kevin Feige. That he said Tilda Swinton, right?
Yeah. All that stuff. I mean, it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't think that's something to judge him for.
Yeah. I don't. The guy. First of all, Kevin Feige is, to quote Charlie Sheen, winning. The Marvel Cinematic Universe has 23 movies with an average box office gross of $1 billion. billion. I
There
mean,
you go.
They
no
built it
one's
with a P.
ever done it in history. And Kevin Feige worked on 13 Marvel movies before starting the
I agree.
MCU. The man's a fucking genius. He knows his
Oh, I
shit.
know the will.
I
Yeah.
agree.
And
Absolutely.
look, fans are cynical. They're like, oh wow, not every Marvel movie. Let me just tell you, hang on. Let me bring my friend here. He
Oh
will
my
tell you.
God.
He will tell you. Hot Toys
Yeah.
Thanos will tell you, do not bet against Kevin Feige. Kevin Feige knows what's up.
Yeah.
And you know what? If you don't believe in that, I will give you my axe.
Yeah.
Right up
And,
the ass. Just
That's
saying.
true. And that's actually kind
Robert-
of funny.
oh, I'm sorry.
Speaking of Marvel Studios, I know like a couple people I know who are friends of mine that actually work down there, and they say pretty positive things about it. Like it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of hard work down there, but it seems like a pretty like well production group.
So
you know?
dude, it's the most well-oiled machine in Hollywood
out
history.
there, yeah.
Everyone knows
I
what
mean-
they're doing.
Yeah.
Every other studio, every other filmmaker, every person in Hollywood wishes
Yeah.
they.
agreed.
And by the way, the fan community, God love us all, because you're all imagination connoisseurs out there. But the idea that what people expect every Marvel movie to do is to walk on fucking water.
I agree.
Like I mean, it's like oh, look, the second coming has happened with every Marvel movie. Oh, I mean, look at that aerial action sequence in the first episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
People are
totally.
like, that shit was the most dope ass. The effects were so realistic. And people
Can
are
I
like,
add something?
yes, sir.
Can I
Andrew,
add
sir.
something?
Please.
I would like to know what would you think about what they are trying to do with the Eternals, and I will explain my question. All right, Eternals, and you said this, Rob. Eternals is not like a well-known entity. I
Yes.
mean, outside the real hardcore geeks, which unfortunately I'm not in a way. I told you, unfortunately I never read comics. I love the movies. I love
Totally.
all the movies, but I never knew who the Eternal was or were until you mentioned it and
Well-
until you explained it. So
Yeah.
I'm sure most of people are like me and not like the close people
Come on,
who
man.
maybe know about the Eternals.
yeah.
So, my question is, do you think it will connect with people about a story about superheroes that maybe they are great, but it's so spectacular, so big, If I understood correctly when you explained it. It's so big, so out there, thousands of years it span. You know what I mean? And they
Yeah.
are saying they're going to win Oscars and all that. But my question is, do you think they can keep that 1 billion track with the Eternals because most of people not even know who they are? That's
Okay.
my question.
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I would say this. Like with Guardians of the Galaxy,
That's a fair point.
and I think the thing about the Eternals is, I would assume, and the buzz around town is, it's a very different. Here's what I don't understand. Here's what here's what I find. Chloe Zhao was still making Nomadland
Right.
when she started dealing with Marvel and the Eternals. Kevin
finished the
Feige
movie, right.
Kevin Feige hired her because of her pitch about the Eternals before she won the best. She won best
It's
producer.
like he has a crystal ball.
Yeah,
right? A
well,
crystal
because
ball.
because he knows. You know what the funny thing in Hollywood, the reason no one knows anything is because everyone in Hollywood is scared. They're scared because
Right.
they can't say anything definitively because they're worried that if they're wrong, they'll lose everything. They'll lose their job. Kevin Feige knows he's right. He knows. Kevin Feige's not scared. He's like, no, I know. It'd be like if they gave Star Trek to me. Like, I would never be scared, like, oh, I wouldn't know. Fuck that. I would know exactly what to do. And I would put that shit on track in about a month. But Kevin Feige knows exactly what to do. He does not ever question because he knows. And so when he sees the funny thing, and people don't, we talk about it, but Kevin Feige hires people to work synergistically with Marvel Studios. It's very different They hired directors. Kevin Feige expects people like the Russo brothers, like James Gunn, like Taika Waititi, like Ryan Coogler. He wants auteurist directors that understand they're working within a system, an ecosystem that, yes, the action scenes, we're going to take care of that, but we want you to bring your special sauce to what we're making.
Right.
And we're working synergistically together. Other studios are like, well, we hope it works, because there's no filmmakers that are at the studio level. Kevin Feige is a working, actual producer who gets in there and knows his shit. And it's exactly what's happening at Marvel is exactly what should happen at every studio. But the problem is the people that run studios are not filmmakers. They're Ivy League educated business people, so they really don't know how to make movies. Kevin Feige learned how to make movies with 13 other Marvel movies before the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He worked on Ghost Rider and Daredevil and the X-Men and Spider-Man. He saw what worked and what didn't work. So in 2008, when they finally released Iron Man, Kevin Feige knew. You know, as a fan, he also worked his way up. No one at the studios, the other studios, they don't have a Kevin Feige. And so the problem is there's nobody at other studios that can do what he does. And
do you think? I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Do you think they chose to make an Eternals movie as a logical progression because of Thanos? I mean, if I understood correctly, you told everyone that Thanos is involved in the Eternal story.
Yes, they have the same. They come from the same place. I do not know. Here's the thing. I don't know this for a fact, but I honestly believe that we are going to see Thanos in the Eternals film in some way.
Baby Thanos?
Maybe not baby Thanos, but you're talking about the Eternals coming from Titan, you know, Thanos' home planet, that they're going to tie it all in, and what you're going to see is it's going to span 1,000 years. I mean, not 1,000 years, thousands of years of time. And I think we're really going to get something that's more along the lines of a Greek myth about the Eternals. And I think it's going to be very different. And I am, of all the Marvel movies that have come out in the last, other than, Infinity War and Endgame, I think Eternals is going to be really something special. And it's funny because what I understand, there's the fan community. I've been in, Parker, we lost you. I've been a fan. Parker dropped out and is back. But I can hear myself. Can you turn the that is better. So I don't know. Hello, you're back. Let me put you in, coach. I'll put you back into the show. So wait, Andy, just let me put back here. I'm sorry, Parker.
All right.
I really, by the way, I want to thank Parker for being here. I know it's crazy, but I really loved his take. And I by the way, buddy, if you don't come back, break a leg tomorrow. And good luck on your shoot. That is amazing. So congratulations on that. You know how it is. Maybe you don't, but shooting anything is scary. So let's bring back. Hello. So
Hi,
I don't
hello.
know, Andy. Where were we? I don't even remember.
Well,
now.
you were talking about how the Eternals is going to cross.
Yes.
Thousands of years and all that.
I'm very optimistic about the Eternals, and everyone's talking about. Here's the thing. The Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they never get enough credit for this. The purist fans are like, well, they're not exactly the same. Well, you cannot make something look like a 4-color newsprint comic. You have to. There's a reason it's called an adaptation. But
Yeah.
one of the things that I was most incredulous about when they started this was, I was like, how are you going to make Iron Man exists in the same world as Thor, exists in the same world as Captain America. How is that going to work? Like, are we going to believe that? And I couldn't believe how they were able to caress, because our characters, they look like how they look in the comics, but if they're translated into the real world, it's redolent. Even in World War II, once Captain America was doing battle with his Howling Commandos, his Captain America suit looked functional.
He looked like suit, right?
It was amazing, and nobody. I don't think they're given as much credit as they deserve, because, my God, all of those characters are instantly recognizable as their comic book counterparts. The costuming in the MCU movies is unbelievable.
I was going to say that. Right. Can I ask you? I'm sorry, just continue.
Yeah, in regards to the Eternals, I did like the costumes that they were wearing, but I felt that just in some of the photos, although Selma Hayek's character had a headpiece, I felt that some of them needed just the finishing touch on the top of their head or additional accessories. I know that sounds crazy, but it felt like they needed just to add a little bit more to make it feel more ethereal to me. But that trailer that they presented, when that I guess spaceship or whatever it is comes in, it is very impactful. It's just that I think that people are just going to be surprised by something that's new, and this may not have been what they were expecting. And and I'm hoping that it's, when they do finally do it, it's going to be something that's going to look fantastic.
I will ask you both one thing. Ask you both one thing. Have you seen the new pictures about the new Shazam movie?
Yes, how they changed the costume?
Right. So this is the same subject. So I want to ask this. Do you think, first of all, my opinion, the new costume looks way better than the last costume, because now you can see a very muscular Zachary Levi there, and before you could see, like, I don't know, he has like a rubber suit or something. It was pretty ridiculous, you know what I mean?
I did like it though. I mean, I'm a huge. The Shazam costume is one of my favorites. Well, I love but I did think it looked great. By the way, I just want to stop you for just 1 second, because this has never happened on the show before. I'm going to read a super chat that sent me while she wasn't on, but now she's here. So I'm going to read a super chat that it's so weird to have somebody live on the show who sent me a super chat. Her super chat was, "Hi, Rob. Kareem is an extraordinary athlete, actor, and activist who knows the heart of pop culture and the entertainment industry for the last 50 years. Hope someone reads his article and learns from it." Well, let me tell you, I agree with you 100%. And thank you for supporting the channel in a generous way.
You're welcome.
That's fucking metal. There's some shekels there, let me tell you. Oh, wait.
Now, Andy, I just wanted to ask you, there is a Shazam TV series, correct?
Mm-hmm.
There is?
Yes, from
the very old one.
In the 70s, I grew up with it.
Right.
Billy Batson and Mentor driving the highways and byways of America in their Winnebago.
But is that an animated or live action?
Only the gods were animated. But no, it's live action. Although there were two different men that played Shazam. And by the way, fucking awesome. That show is so metal. As far as Saturday morning shows go, it is great. And you can get my beloved Warner Archive, put it out on Blu-ray.
You know why I brought Shazam before? Because we were talking about how they are adapting the costumes from the comic book to the live action, and I believe the first costume, not the last one of Shazam, I think it looks great, all right?
Yeah.
But the first costume is I think is exactly like the comic book, and it looked a little bit ridiculous. You know what I mean? A little bit, just a little.
Come on, man. I understand. I know what you mean. And
then, I'm not saying Marvel does this better than DC. I love both, all right? And DC makes good I loved the last Superman costume, the darker one. I'm not talking about the black one. I'm talking about the dark blue one. I love that one, you know what I mean? And then in 2017, when they lighter up with all that weird light of light blue was horrible, I think. So that's all adapting from a comic to a live action. They are making decisions. I don't know if DC, they are making thoughtful decisions, or they are just throwing things to the wall and believing what sticks and what's not. And maybe Marvel has a whole department that is thinking 5 years before the movie. We need to think about how to adapt the costume, because we don't want it to be ridiculous, but we want to be a little bit faithful at least. Do you remember the last Scarlet Witch costume of the series?
Oh, yeah.
That was pretty much like, I think it was closer to the comics.
Oh,
right?
it was amazing.
The last one.
It was amazing.
one.
Loved it.
And it was great. It looked great, in my opinion.
Andy,
I don't know what you think.
Andy, what do you think of some of the sideshow, or not just sideshow, but let's say the figure collectible costumes that they're kind of going back to, original comics and making sideshow collectible in its original costume or
the
version?
X-Men Oh.
Yes.
Well, I think if they change the costumes on the collectibles, then people like Rob can buy 3 different pieces from the same superhero, you know what I mean? Or 10 different pieces,
I don't know what you're talking about, Andy. What are you talking about? What are you saying, Andy?
I wish I could buy those things, because in Argentina, I told before, the inflation is killing my fucking ass, and I cannot get any of that. I can just watch the show and, watch all of you get those stuff, but that's fine. We have other great things in Argentina. I'm not going to complain. This country is great.
You've got the Buenos Aires International Film Festival, where Tango Shalom will be playing. I mean, come on.
But sometimes I take this show the same way Rob does with those YouTubes about expensive watches that you say you watch. Remember that?
Oh man, dude, you know what? I see you are the historian of the Burnettwork, but yes, but those like Richard, I didn't know who Richard Millier was, but
so
I want to own a watch. I want a $250,000.
I take this show the same way. I watch all the hot dogs you collect, and each one of them is like $300 or $500. You should know, and you will cry for me on this. If I would like to buy one of those,
I only cry for people in Argentina.
Yeah, but
I'm going to cry right for you.
If I like to buy a hot toy in Argentina, it will cost like $1,000, and I'm talking about the cheapest one. All right, $1,000, the cheaper ones. I'm not talking about Thanos. All right, I'm talking about the
Andy, let me ask you a question. If you could have a hot toy, what hot toy would you want?
Okay, I was not ready for that question, so let me think just for a second. All right. Let me think. I think I like the Ben Affleck Batman, from Batman v Superman, because I like that costume. I like the big bat.
Okay, so what you're saying is
I'm sure I've got that one. All right.
No, I don't. I don't have any of the. I do not have any of the Batman. No, I didn't get those. And by the way, yeah, me too. I mean, I there was a time. It was a little thin then. I do not have the armored Batman, and let me tell you,
don't you have the Batmobile?
No, I did not. I have the 1989 Batmobile. I have the Hot Toys 89.
Okay.
I did not, but let me tell you, I would love to have the Ben Affleck BVS Batman, but that Batman you can only get on the secondary market. It's like $700.
Really? Well, here in Argentina, it will be like $1,500 or some shit like that.
See, what I was thinking about is how can I hook you up with because I think it would be worth doing a video if I could send you a hot toy and you'd have to film it, like you doing an unboxing in Argentina, and talk about inflation rates and how much Hot Toys figures are, and just send you one. It would be worth it.
And you know what?
That figure here, if the problem is, Andy, if I could get a Batman v Superman, the figure you want, I'm not gonna send that shit to you. I'm gonna keep it for myself. I mean, let's face it. Just so you know, I mean, my altruism goes only so far. For God's sake, now come on now.
Mm-hmm.
I would have done it for a second. Now the thing is, the other day I was just browsing through the internet with an Argentinian eBay or whatever, I was just browsing. I was looking at all these hot toys because you can get hot toys in Argentina. The small problem is the price. So you can get all the hot toys, but the thing is that we have so many restrictions here with dollars, to pay something in dollars. We have many restrictions here. So if we would like to super chat or become members or do anything that costs dollars and not pesos, it's like they are grabbing us from our balls or something like that. I don't know what they don't like that. So I love that this kind of shows let some people from some other countries that they don't have the chance to pay in dollars because those governments are fucking idiots and they don't let you to pay something in dollars. So I can connect with you in a way. I can ask you a few questions and I don't need to send a super chat, not because I don't have money, because some countries work in some weird way. They don't like the dollar thing. I will not explain you here because I will bore everyone.
You don't have to send super chats. It's better to have you here. I mean, look, sends me super chats and she's on the show.
Yes,
thank you very much. I wanted to say that because if it was for me, I would super chat my ass off. You know what I mean? But I can't. I live in a country that does not allow that. It costs you like your leg and one of your eyes, and I cannot do that. You know what I mean?
You know what, Andy? It's just so nice to even speak to you. This is what this whole thing is about, and it's a pleasure to be able to have that.
Andy, I have to dismiss you though, because I have somebody coming on the show. I have
that's fine. I have a chance.
No, and I have to say I very much enjoyed. I again. You're now the official historian of the Burnettwork.
Thank you.
Just so you know.
I'll take that.
And we have to figure out. I've got to figure out how I can get you that Batman figure from BVS, and how I can get it without wanting to keep it myself. I got to figure.
Don't worry, man.
Now, if I were to send it to you, like I don't know what the customs payments are, because
No, that will. Don't get me started on that, please.
So what I have to do is I'll say it's like Band-Aids or something.
Or something.
It's plastic. All right, sir. Right. Well, let me let you go, and I want to thank you for being here. It's great for the second time seeing you. You're a complete delight, and it was great to have you.
Thank you,
all right,
man.
Sir.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye, Andy.
I will see you later. Now, I'm hoping that I actually told somebody, I told Paulie Latino Slant to come here. Hang on, Parker. You can't hang on. You got. I'm sorry. I'm waiting, Parker. Hang on. I'm waiting for someone to come here, so I got to let you go. Parker, I apologize. You can come back, but I'm waiting for Paulie if he's out there. I don't know if he is, but I told him to come back, so I'm waiting for him because I sent him a link, and I told him to come here. So, Paulie, if you're out there, I know it's 3 minutes late. But if
you're there, come on.
He is here, my God, my friend.
Yes.
He is here. I can't wait. He is here. He is my carnal. I'm going to put him in the show. Hang on. Let me just put him in, coach, and add Paulie from a great YouTube channel. Latino Slant. Paulie, just hold on a minute. Unlike StreamYards, I have to put people in and make them look good. Paulie is one of the coolest men on YouTube, and
he really is. He really is,
isn't he? So
yeah, he's wonderful.
And I'm just going to change his name real quick. Put him on because he's not Andy. He's Paulie.
No. See, I wanted to ask you about your film festival, Robert.
Oh, hang on, wait, before you do that, let me just change it. I'm just changing. Paulie, is it LATINOSLANT or is there an underscore? All right then, I'm just gonna put you in, coach. Welcome to Paulie, or as we like to say, Latino Slant. If you don't subscribe to his channel, you should, because Paulie is one of the coolest dudes on YouTube. Paulie, welcome to Midnight Metal. And let me ask you, Paulie, you've answered this question before. Are you feeling metal tonight?
Yeah.
Listen to his voice. So even when he doesn't know what he's going to say. I love hearing your voice. It sounds good.
Put me in, coach.
Yeah,
I'm
I know.
ready to play.
I know. It's like Center Field. Remember that album? I got that. That was one of the first CDs I ever bought.
Fogerty, man.
John Fogerty.
Jesus.
Yeah, he was
My
fantastic.
God. So wait a minute.
California boy.
You were going to ask Polly a question. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, just saying hello, and I missed karaoke tonight. I'm sorry.
It's all right. It's okay. It's time to get our medal on.
So Polly, I you know what? I'm so excited about something we're doing next week. I want you. Normally, I would ask you at the end of the show, but I would say, now that you're here, we're gonna do something that is so fucking cool next week, and is so beyond metal. Why don't you tell the folks at home what you have organized for the YouTube, for the world community?
Well, first of all, it's great to be here back on your show, back on your channel. Hello to the wonderful chat. And look who's in the chat, our brother Tom and Script Doctor from Midnight's Edge.
I love, by the way, Script Doctor. I want to do a show with Script Doctor. I can't wait. We're going to do a show about storytelling. I can't wait.
Yeah. It's so funny because tomorrow we're filming, we're going to break down the first eight episodes of Superman and Lois. Because we're both fans, and it's pretty good. But anyways,
it is a good show. Yeah, please go.
It's a very good show.
Tell us what you have wrought for us.
This is metal. Next Thursday at noon, high noon, Pacific time, we have the reunion panel of the film Stand and Deliver. Not only Edward James Olmos, but Lou Diamond Phillips with us on Midnight's Edge. Running as the main quarterback will be Robert Meyer Burnett hosting, and
my God.
Can't wait for that.
Yeah. I mean, how can I reach these kids?
One of the more uplifting things that happened during COVID is meeting other YouTubers like yourself, and Midnight's Edge sort of adopted me. Andre's been on the show, Tom's been on the show, and the community that has been created is amazing. And one of the things I think is genius is that Midnight's Edge started a Spanish version that you are taking the lead on. I wonder if you could speak a little bit about, because why not shamelessly promote this? I think this is just an amazing idea that Midnight's Edge pioneered, got you involved. Tell us about what is it called, and your Midnight's Edge is doing a Spanish channel.
Yeah, well, it's called Midnight's Edge Español, which is kind of like the first conceived, if you will, by Andre and then Tom, and then they handed it to me. And same thing, it's just I just quarterback the Spanish team, and we're live Tuesdays and Thursdays, 9 a.m. Is our wrench, so this is familia that we have here, guys. And really covering, so the content is everything you can expect as from Midnight's Edge, like from straight up, changing everything into Spanish as far as voiceovers, same content, to original content, to content, and interviews with Latino filmmakers, actors, musicians, in Espanol. I'm putting a video up of this great Colombian singer-songwriter. That's like the next video. And yeah, what more can I say? We're having a blast. It's been only on for a month. We're over 400 subscribers, and what's great about this, Rob, is that Robert,
you can call me Bob, Rob, right? It doesn't matter.
I'm like, some people get upset.
I don't like people call me Robert Meyer Burnett. I'm like, what the fuck? Oh yeah. I mean, I'm like, I've never. I was only professionally called that. I'm usually Elizabeth has started calling me Bob. Hey Bob, I love it. I'm like, that's what my mom called me. I'm like, my God. So call me.
Well, you know who was Bob, right? It's Richie's brother.
Yes. But now,
That's-
you know, I think what you're doing,
Mhm.
I mean, I think it's fantastic. And, you know, you have had
Mm-hmm.
the Latino community, especially here in Los Angeles, and it's so vibrant. There's so many aspects to it. And I think, you know, when I was growing up in Seattle, I told you before, we didn't have any understanding of Chicano culture. And when I came to LA, I loved like lowrider culture, and I didn't understand about the artwork that was on. I loved it so much, but there was nobody bringing that culture to me. And of course, in the 80s in Seattle, we didn't have the internet, so because it didn't exist. And I think what Midnight's Edge has a worldwide reach, and I think that there's something really vibrant. I mean, everybody looks to New York and all that, as a cultural center of America. But I think that Los Angeles, what we have is the thing that LA has to export to the world is our Latino culture. That's what makes Los Angeles such a great city. It is the Latino culture here. And it is, I'm sure Texas might say, no, our Latino culture is better. But I think Los Angeles, it makes this, it gives this city its dare I say spice, and it makes it unique. And the fact that you're covering it, and you have a Norwegian who started a channel that said, hey, we need to have a Spanish channel on Midnight's Edge. I love this, and that you're running it. I think it's the coolest thing ever.
Thanks, man. Thanks. We're having a great time, and Tom's has quickly become a good friend, and we just celebrated his birthday. You were there earlier this week.
By the way, thanks for inviting me.
Oh, that was so much fun. But a couple of things is that obviously we're 30 some odd Spanish speaking countries.
Yeah.
We're that's the goal, man. I want to get Midnight's Edge Espanol into, I want subscribers from every one of those countries and then beyond. But Los Angeles is always the beacon, as far as Latino culture in the States. Whether Texas might be, Texas has some amazing food and has amazing people. But and in New York and in Miami, it's the Boricuas, it's the Cubans, But everyone looks to LA. Los Angeles has everything. And what's really cool, back to the Stand and Deliver, is that we're bringing in a Chicano publication called the Daily Chela.
Yeah.
And Brandon, who's the editor of the Daily Chela, and you're going to get to meet him. He's either up in Portland or Seattle right now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But he's knee deep into lowrider culture. I mean, I just love this guy. I love his podcast. I love what he does. And I said, hey man, come, because I do want that segment, right, Rob? After you start, is like, let's bring in him. Let's bring in a couple of Spanish speaking questions.
Of course.
What a great exchange we're going to have, man. What a great exchange we're going to have. I mean,
hablo español.
Yeah.
Mi porco.
Well, you had Argentina on a sec. I got the "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina" joke he did. It went over his head.
Here's what I love. I mean, look, we started this thing with the Blood In, Blood Out panel, which I couldn't believe what that turned into. And what I thought was really interesting about that is, a lot of people talk about all the negativity on YouTube, especially in fan channels. Everyone's bitching and moaning and complaining. And what I loved is, like, you and Tom dreamed up doing this. I didn't even know you were doing it. And I started riffing on Blood In, Blood Out. And you guys, Rob, we should talk to you after the show. I'm like, I don't even know why. And when you told me this, I'm like, wait, what? And I couldn't believe it. And the fact that you brought everyone together, that panel, all of those actors, it was unbelievable to see them all together and to hear. And I know, I guess people take this kind of thing for granted, but for a lifelong movie fan like myself, even though I was participating in it, I kept thinking to myself, I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is incredible. And what a great use of YouTube. And that's one of the things Midnight's Edge has done. Bringing all of us together and continues to support these kinds of things. And, a lot of people want to be negative about these kinds of things, but my God, come on.
Well, stereotypes exist.
Yeah.
And, I was telling you about Brandon. I want to send you a link of a panel that he ran where it had LA Times and some other Latino critics on. And, these guys went after Tax Collector last year. And, listen,
By the way, I just want to say Tax Collector is a film.
Yeah, sorry.
So if you haven't seen it, just because they might... Wait, what is the IRS involved?
Right. Tax Collector stars... it actually... Well, the name in it, he's not the star, is Shia LaBeouf. It's directed by David Ayer. Chicano crime, gangster film. They went after that. Oh, it's negative and it's drugs and it's like it's a drug movie. It's a gangster movie. That's what Scarface is. That's what Godfather is.
Right. Those Italians.
Yeah.
God damn them.
And the thing with Blood In, Blood Out is that they took those stereotypes and man, you fell in love with those brothers.
Yeah.
They were so dynamic. They're just I mean, besides the words, right? The poetic words, but you got to embrace it all, right? We want this. We want great stories of people of different stripes and within the Latino culture. But what sells, right?
But also, it's a genre film.
Yeah.
When you're doing a crime thriller. It's like it's sort of understood. Like, okay, we're and Blood In, Blood Out shows the story of three different brothers with different they'd go different ways and all that. But like the Tax Collector's a total genre film. It's and I understand. Okay, it's set in Los Angeles, but Fargo was set in Fargo, and whatever. I mean, It's a crime thriller. It's a genre.
Crime thriller, yeah.
I don't think you watch La Bamba or you watch Selena. You're not thinking, well, every Latino is a criminal.
Well, because you got to understand these Latino critics that write reviews for movies, they're almost embarrassed by these stereotypes, and it's just like, well, that's those stereotypes are our cousins. Those stereotypes are. they exist, man, and yeah, they're not just that they don't represent everyone, but those other movies are coming out in the Heights. Come
on, West Side Story. Yeah, like I want to live in America.
But there's a really good film that just came out. I'm wondering if have you seen it? But it's called Blast Beat.
No.
It hit it was a Sundance darling last year, and it just got distributed on Amazon. You believe you can stream it, anywhere. Really good film, coming of age, about two brothers coming from Colombia. Basically it's like bilingual movie, and they immigrate to Atlanta. But the older brother is a like a NASA scientist prodigy.
Yeah.
He wants to work for NASA. How about that T-shirt you have on, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
very appropriate.
Well, it's like what's going on for All Mankind. You have the Latina scientist, whose life was fucked up, and she finally comes back to NASA. By the way, I just want to say, Saberwolf sends in a tip and says, I love the show. One of my guilty pleasures, I'm so glad someone brought this up. One of my guilty pleasures is The First Power, starring Lou Diamond Phillips. Jeff Kober as the main villain did an amazing job, just couldn't stop the man. I saw The First Power in the theater. opening
So
weekend.
did I. So did I. So did I. I was
That
a
is a
huge Lou
good
Diamond fan.
pull. Good pull. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Lou Diamond.
Let me
Phillips.
just finish with Blast Beat, and I want maybe you can look it up, look up the poster. But
Yeah.
the lead actor, right, is also a heavy metal head.
Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah.
How is
Hey,
that spelled? How is that spelled?
Blast and then Beat.
Oh, a blast beat. Okay.
Blast Beat. And Wilmer Valderrama plays the dad, but he's a very small role.
Yeah.
Very small role. These two actors that play the brothers are just amazing. It's a great film that no one's talking about.
Wow, you know what? I like this poster.
Great poster.
Yeah, let me.
And what's so funny, Arum, is that the leader is a metalhead, NASA prodigy, and look at the show we're on right now.
Yes.
I mean,
that's a movie I highly recommend.
For those
I'm sorry,
let me find the let me just put it in. I will show people
the poster. The poster.
Yeah. So what Paulie's talking about is this poster. Here's the movie Blast Beat, and this is the one sheet. I mean, already I'm intrigued. It's almost like this is a Marvel movie poster, but it is, it's done as a and even I love the logo because it looks both graffiti and futuristic. I love that. It's
because those are the brothers, and it's a coming of age. One brother's an artist. The bald-headed little brother is a graffiti artist. Hothead.
Mm-hmm.
The guy with the long hair is the prodigy, but also into metal. And it's and Robert, the way it's filmed, because it's not a big budget film,
right?
The camera it moves as if it's anticipating the next thought of the character. It's so well done. I cannot stress. I highly recommend it. I need to do a video on it because no one's talking about this film. So first of all, I appreciate you letting me talk about it. But
we should. I mean, that's what we're here for, is to champion the things that people might not know about. I mean, that's what I love the most. I mean, 100%.
But I think this filmmaker is going to go far. This guy knows how to. He just loves working that camera and working these subjects. It's and the lighting, and it was just really. We talked about this before. When you don't have a big budget, you're really creative with your shots.
Yeah. Well, I look at you right now. I love the mise en scène of the frame that you're presenting to us. The lighting in the background, it looks good.
Oh yeah, my little on air.
It looks good. By the way, I have a question. Ash Chauhan. By the way, Ash, he's somehow figured out. Like I was in the band 30 Seconds to Mars. You can see me there. Ash has been taking pictures of me in all these bands. I don't know how Ash knew that I was here, but apparently he did. But so Ash sends in a tip, and he says to you, what do you think about the term Latinx? It seems there is a generational divide on the use of the term. The term has become synonymous with Gen Z, but older generations refrain from the term or don't really know about it and still use Latino. What are your thoughts?
That's you. Wow.
I know, right?
I didn't know you were in that band.
That was me, man. You didn't know I was in 30 Seconds to Mars? Well, Ash Chauhan has somehow he found pictures of me with Duran 40 years ago when I took Simon Le Bon's place for a while. And
you had me listen to the Fix like a couple hours ago. I started playing the Fix
because Deeper and Deeper is not a great jam.
It's a great band.
It's a great band,
man.
I just listen to these random things and I have to tweet them out. So what do you think?
At night.
What do you think about Latinx, which is weird?
Latinx.
Is it Latinx?
Latinx.
Latinx. Sounds like a superhero.
I personally would never use it. I'm Chicano, and I belong. I'm a part of the Latino of the Latino community. I see where Latinx is useful to people who are from the LGBTQ community, which I respect. But that is different than what kind of academia and Hollywood has taken that label, and just it's very strange how they're just trying to label everyone Latinx. And I'm really I'm really perplexed and confused by it. And again, you have Brandon, you're gonna get to meet him. We're on the same tip on that one, because it's not a term. First of all, it's two things, but then I'll keep it short. Latinx is not Spanish, and but it's not from the community. It's not
Right.
it's not battle tested like, let's say, Chicano or
I
Boricua.
love that you said
Right.
battle tested. Somebody made that up on some college campus back east.
Yeah, it's really bizarre, man. It's
Yeah,
really
dude.
bizarre.
Dude, we live in a strange time.
Yeah, because I get the LGBT connection, and they're not, they're bi and they're trans, so they're not down with the masculine or feminine name, whatever, right? Okay, cool. But it's such a small part of the population.
Try and explain that to your grandmother.
No,
What's she gonna say?
no.
Yeah, see, well, that the thing is, for me, if your grandmother is not down with it, then, and don't tell me she's too old or doesn't understand. I'm like, no. Grandma has to be down with this, or I'm not good with it. That's it. And I think it's so. What I find so strange is, why is everyone so fascinated with labels? Like why? Look. Hey, listen, man. If I don't want to dead name anyone or misgender anybody. I don't. But I don't. How am I expected to know the vernacular of all of these constantly shifting terms? Like, and if I say something wrong, I will get pilloried. But how am I supposed to know this? And it's such a weird thing, because I come from the place that I cannot expect the world to know what I know. I can't, and nor should anyone else. And so, my mother has no clue. She's 82 years old. She has no idea about any of it, and she's very savvy, But my mother loves golf. She loves cats. And she's not on the internet. And when I try and explain this to her, my mother would be like, "Wait, Rob, as long as you're nice to people, isn't that okay?" I'm like, "Mom, you don't understand. If I misgender or dead name someone, I'm fucked." And my mother's like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "But you like everybody." I'm like, "I know, but one slip," and my mother doesn't get it. By the way,
they're very.
that 70s rock fan says Latino Slant and Midnight's Edge Espanol are great channels, and everyone is welcome.
Yeah, he's one of my founding members of the channel. That 70s rock fan, and that's a great point right there, man. The Latino Slant is my manifesto is very, very simple. I'm here to entertain and to enlighten.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
But,
What more can you ask? I mean,
right.
maybe you can't bring us world peace in the next year, but I would say that's a pretty good start, sir.
Yeah, we can do this, right? And we can have a good time sharing movies and recommending stuff, and but I have a new word for you. I don't know if it's new, but I have a new take on it, because it is my reaction to these labels and people that are so agenda driven, which really divide us. Let's be honest. We're one race. We have all our different.
Thank
cultures,
God you said
beautiful.
that. We are one race. One.
And our cultures, our personal cultures are the things that bring us to the dinner table together, not divide us. So I have a word for those people that love to divide us, and that word is right here on my shirt. It's called wokoso.
Yes.
I love that.
Don't be a Bocoso.
Bocoso. Bocoso. Yeah. I
On sale now at Latino Slant merchandise.
I'm going to buy it. I will go buy that right now.
Yeah.
But this is something I don't like. I never thought, as an old middle-aged man with one foot in the grave, that I would be living in a world where I thought that we were on a pretty great evolutionary enlightenment path, where and I always tell the story, but when I saw the movie, I should never have been in a theater. I saw Step Up to the Streets, the movie Step Up to the Streets, and I did not see Step Up, the first one. I went because people wanted to go see it, and I'm like, okay. I went and saw it at the Grove. But the thing that struck me the most about Step Up to the Streets was the multi-ethnic makeup of the good dance crew.
Yes.
And I was like, that's pretty cool. Like I really responded to that. And the evil dance crew was kind of one note. And I was like, this is kind of the Star Trek of the Step Up dance movies, and I was like, these are exciting young people, and they're all getting along, and they're from different, it was not the Jets and the Sharks fighting in the streets. It was everybody. The good crew was the crew that had the multi-ethnic makeup, and I'm like, wow, we're evolving. And I thought it's amazing. And then 5 or 6 years ago, everything went kaflooey, and we're living in a weird, crazy, bizarre world where everyone wants what they want now, and it's all like young people screaming for social justice. And I think their hearts are in the right place, but it's like they lack understanding that we were on a good path. Good things were happening, and now it's been completely derailed, and I don't get it.
Well, I think we're being nice when we say their hearts are in the right place. Some
right.
Some of them are, but even the ones that are, they've been misguided down the dark path.
Well, it's weird because, look, I think modern activism, I'm sorry to say this, but it's narcissistic. Like, people want to pick their cause, and they want to prove to the world that they are on the right side because they want to feel good about being on the right side, as opposed to being actually on a right side for its own sake. Like, activism's not about you; it's about the cause, and I think people have made it about them, and that's really dangerous. It's really dangerous when people are propping themselves up by using social justice as something to make them feel better about themselves. And that's what I think a lot of what's happening is strange to me. Because I think uplifting people and celebrating our cultures is inherently a good thing. And uplifting. And it's not something you should weaponize. It's something you should celebrate.
I mean, yeah, you couldn't have said it better, man. We're all here together at this point in time on this one earth.
Yeah, man.
It just
and
boggles my mind, man.
There's so much cool shit. There's so much great culture and so many great people and music and art and food and sensual pleasures. I mean, there is so much great stuff everywhere you look. And it really is, I would say, man, it's a choice. You make a choice. Do you see this as positive? Everywhere you look, you walk out, and for me, my choice in life is to see wonder. And you know what? It's everywhere. It's everywhere. Every person you meet. Andy. I didn't know Andy 5 days ago. Here's a guy in Argentina who's been on the show twice. I like that guy. He's smart. He's got opinions. I didn't know him. He's in Argentina. But because we have
Yeah.
technology, I'm talking to a guy in Argentina who knows more about my channel than I do. And this is incredible. There's wonder everywhere. I mean, Paulie, you champion musicians that people don't necessarily know. You are bringing... who doesn't love music?
Yeah.
I mean, my God, when you see one human being pick up a guitar or sit down at a piano and start playing, how awesome is that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing.
I mean, that's our next membership perk is we're going to be hanging out with a band during their rehearsal, and then they're going to perform for us and then talk to us. Like, it's a private stream that and because that's part of entertaining and enlightening. I mean, this band is so damn good. They're called the Consequentialists, and I'm so excited. So I'm trying to do that once a month. It's either a band or it's a filmmaker that comes on and we watch their movie with them.
Well, how fantastic is that?
Yeah, man.
It's great.
It's so much fun. It's just fun.
Yeah, and by the way, sends in a super chat.
What? Oh, she couldn't get a word in.
She sends in a super chat. She says, "Congrats on the 700th today. I'm also excited about the Post-Geek Singularity Discord server and the Intergalactic Imagination Connoisseurs Film Festival semi-finalists." Well, thank you for sending it. It's amazing. I'm getting super chats from you while you're on the show live. I wish there were more of you in the world, but thank you so much. But yes, I was. I mean, I'm remiss. Look, I feel terrible about how long it took me. I just got busy, but I do want to celebrate. I mean, we got some great films. I'm sorry, not enough people watched them. You know, I wished we got people, with a fraction of my subscribers watch those films. But there's a lot of great work that was done. I was very impressed. But finally, and now my judges are watching the films, and in 2 weeks or 2 or 3 weeks, we will give out our awards. We even have cash prizes. So
wow.
So thank you for that. By the way, Sonny Dominguez writes in and says, "I am 100% Mexican from Texas. I am auditioning for roles. I've noticed most creatives tell stories from only a certain Latino cultural and geographical perspective." What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, not sure what perspective he's talking about. Latino geographical. If he's just saying like maybe just from like East LA stories or Chicano Cholo stories, just Mexican. I would say yes and no. You know what's funny? Because In the Heights is coming out, and you have Blast Beat. You have this other really good flick on Netflix called Blue Miracle, and that's more of a real family film, but should not be overlooked. Very well done. Dennis Quaid co-stars. Is you've seen all these amazing stories back in the day, even though there would be like let's say a Chicano film or an East LA film, those actors wouldn't be Chicano or Mexican. They'd either be Cuban or Italian. I mean, in Milagro Beanfield War, the lead actor was Italian. He was Italian. I mean, he's a talented actor. He was a dancer by trade, this actor. But he wasn't, so, it's interesting, right? Because Milagro Beanfield War was a great magical realism story that Robert Redford did. He just missed the mark in the casting, and it was I think he saw magical realism from a slightly kind of pseudo kind of Sedona type of like hey, we're cool Sundance vibe, and not more the best use of magical realism I've seen on film was Nava's El Norte, the first Gregor Nava's first.
I remember El Norte.
Oh my God, I have that on Blu-ray.
Yeah, bro.
I love El Norte. I saw that at the Egyptian Theater where the Seattle International Film Festival took place. That movie blew me away.
Yeah.
There were two movies that I saw at relatively the same time. One was a Chinese-Japanese co-production called The Go Masters and El Norte. And my God, Gregory Nava directed that movie. And oh my God, it's an incredible film. Ugh.
And it is the story of a woman migrating to the United States, correct?
Yes.
It's a brother and sister.
Yeah, brother and sister.
Yeah.
From, I believe
Make sure I'm
Guatemala.
talking about the right one. It was an incredible story, and I'm glad that was made. And honestly, I think people should watch that in school. It was very important for them to portray that journey that we still see happening today. So it was an incredible film.
You know what's funny about that film is that it's from the brother and sister who are from Guatemala, and then they travel to Mexico, and to get ahead, like to get to not get caught, they had to talk like Mexican, so they started cursing a lot in Spanish.
Right.
You know, then they run into two Chicanos in LA who call the INS on them. It's just
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's an incredible film. Really good.
Yeah.
Good flick. So yeah, with what Sonny said, I'm curious to see what he's been auditioning for. There's a lot of stuff out there. And Ruben Blades is, someone asked about Ruben Blades. He's from Panama. A great performer, pretty good actor.
Oh my God! If you've ever seen Ridley Scott's The Counselor,
I didn't see that.
Oh, dude! And watch the director's cut.
I don't
Oh my God!
Really?
When he comes on, first of all, The Counselor is fucking harsh. Oh my God, it is so harsh. I mean, it's a film. It was shot in Spain, even though it's not supposed to take place in Spain. A lot of people hate it. I fucking love The Counselor, and Ruben Blades. Pardon me, I wasn't saying it the way you said it, but to me, it was he has a small role, but very, I would say, pivotal. But when he comes on, man, you're just like, you draw in your breath. You do not breathe out when he is on screen. It is amazing. Well, I don't want to oversell it, but if you haven't seen The Counselor, and by the way, get the extended version, it is unbelievable. And by the way, people hate it. People hate
Do they?
it. I love The Counselor. I love the extended version. It is, again, it's about drugs, and it's about, but Brad Pitt is in it. Javier Bardem is in it.
Really? Wait. The Counselor. Okay.
The Counselor. The Cameron Diaz is in it. She actually has sex with a car. Believe it or not.
God, I haven't seen her in anything in years.
Well, she quit acting. She quit.
Did you really?
Yeah. By the way, Metalhead sends in a tip and says, "Sorry, Rob, but this isn't so metal right now. Let's ramp it up." Yes, this is, goddammit! What the fuck are you saying? This is fucking metal. Erudite conversation's metal. What do you want? You don't need another guitar riff. You've heard every guitar riff. We're having a good conversation. Of course this is metal.
I just had to check just to make sure, but I've been watching Ruben Blades in Fear the Walking Dead over the past few years. And, he really was wonderful in it, and I think for a good portion of the series, he actually carried it. There's another actor in it who also was very good, but Ruben Blades really was, had some really good performances in there. And his intensity was, I think, what made or more legitimized that spin-off series to The Walking Dead. I just had to look it up to make sure it was the right actor, but I loved him in that. So I don't know if you guys had seen him in Fear the Walking Dead, but
the thing with Ruben and a lot of those salseros, they're such performers. They're such personalities. They're like, of course they're going to do well in film. And he stuck with it. So his charm and his warmth, it's like, I'm really waiting for that really good, like kind of breakout role for him.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's like always good and like here and there, but yeah, I know Fear the Walking Dead. He did pretty good. But
Oh, you've got to watch The Counselor.
okay,
I mean,
let's check out The Counselor.
All right.
by the way,
Your chat's going off though.
going off. Darth Plato sends in a tip and says, "Hello, everyone. At Berkeley, I met some people who were social justice warriors. In my experience, a lot of students say what they say because they haven't experienced any other way to view other people and the world. This is why it's important to be cool when sharing." I agree with that, actually.
Yeah.
Just
And I also want to add.
Real
I also
cool.
want to add something to that, is that the idea of peer pressure, and we're seeing organizations or people who, you know, clearly are somewhat more neutral on this topic, and then you'll find later on it's almost like they've succumbed to the pressure of having to take a side when perhaps, you know, they didn't care either way.
Right.
So I think that's very important. You know, we keep seeing this happen again and again, and you know, we know what happens to the entertainment industry when it sort of gets entangled with that sort of behavior. So
Yeah. No,
Yeah, man.
no, I totally agree with that. By the way, Sonny Dominguez asks, I cannot wait to see this movie. He says, "Has anyone seen the Mexican film New Order? I'm shook." I mean, this was
I'm seeing it next week.
I didn't realize it was playing right down the street from me, basically. So, for those of you who don't know, there is a Mexican film called New Order that is very brutal and difficult to watch. That is basically about a wealthy family who's having a wedding in Mexico City. It's a dystopian kind of a film, and a bunch of far leftists attack this wedding.
Wow.
And just eviscerate and destroy everything. And it's you know, it's about an uprising about income inequality, but it's done in a very brutal, very hardcore way, and right up my alley. And I love that kind of thing, but I don't necessarily agree with the message, but I can't wait to see this movie.
Well, Diego Boneta, he's a name.
Yeah. Well, I think I mean, Mexican filmmakers now are there are some incredible films coming out. I mean, obviously we have Inarritu, we have Guillermo del Toro, and we have Cuarón. And then also there's movies like We Are the Flesh. Man, I saw We Are the Flesh. I was like, what the fuck? This is amazing. I mean, if you guys haven't seen We Are the Flesh, it's kind of X-rated. Incest, craziness, weirdness. I'm like, this is amazing. I mean, there's unbelievable films being made in Mexico right now.
Yeah, I really liked Roma.
Oh, yeah.
From a few years ago.
I mean, it's not my favorite Cuarón, but you know, it was pretty good. It was all right. You know, for me, Y Tu Mamá También is. And actually, Y Tu Mamá También and Prisoner of Azkaban are my favorite Cuarón films.
What about Children of Men?
Oh, that's like right up there.
Come on, dude. Come on. Yeah. One of the great science fiction.
Was Children of Men done on a lower budget? Just out of curiosity, was it?
Well, it wasn't. It's a pretty lush. I mean, it's a pretty well. I don't know how much it costs, but it's a beautifully made movie. I don't think.
I wonder if Script knows.
Yeah, Script. Is Script still here? I don't know if he does.
Yeah, I saw him popping in. But you know, and this is the thing that, you know, just as amazing as those directors are, if as far as when they don't, you know, besides their native, you know, besides those films from Mexico, when they come to the States, they don't put any U.S. Latino actors in their films.
No, I know.
You know, so it's just like, oh yeah, these guys are great. We're gonna get some jobs, or I don't know what, you know. So that, you know, that's kind of a little thorn with me, but I can get over it. You know, they're pretty incredible. There is another film that I actually talked about this past Wednesday on my show on Netflix. It's called Dance of the 41, and it is heavy, and it is quite the story. And it's acted incredibly. It's shot incredibly. It's based on a true story. It was the first gay scandal in the media in Mexico in 1901.
Wow.
And yeah, and it's pretty heavy. And basically, Porfirio Diaz's son-in-law gets caught at a party where all men were dancing with each other, and half of them were dressed in women's clothing, dresses.
Right.
And they were able to get him, the son-in-law, they were able to get him off the report. So 42 became 41.
Wow.
And even to this day, the number 41 is synonymous with don't be that person. Like, it's a put down still in Mexico. It's a trip, man. This movie is really important. It's very well done. So if anyone wants to see that film, that's on Netflix. I got to do a roundup of some of these movies, man.
Because we don't know about them.
I've been lagging behind.
There's a film that's going to be in a film festival here in New York. I don't know which film festival it's going to be in.
Brooklyn,
it's called
Tango
Columbia.
Shalom. No, just kidding.
well, that one is that's actually at the Brooklyn Film Festival right now. So you can watch it virtually, or you can go to the theater right
on
here
the 10th.
Brooklyn,
you can go and see it at the movie. I've never even seen. I wish I was in New York. I wish I could go see it, but you can go see it on the 10th.
But this chat is great.
Yes.
But so Script says. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Audrey.
No. All I was going to say is there's another film that I wanted to bring up. It's not scandalous or anything. The film is called Colombia Cali, and it's about salsa dancers in Colombia and the tradition of salsa there. And it goes not just from the dancers, but to the costume makers and everything, the whole performance of it all. And it's going to be at one of the film festivals. I can't remember which one. I think it's at the Independent. It's either a Tribeca or at the Independent, which is coming up soon. Right. But I'm really excited to see this film because I love any film that has dancing in it. So I really am eager to see it. Also, since, to the audience, people don't understand that Tango Shalom does actually have dancing in it. Sometimes the names of movies don't always reflect what the film is about, but this one does actually have dancing in it. So for you dance enthusiasts who are watching.
By the way, we have I just want to say it. Destiny Captain sends in a tip and says, Rob, Lou Diamond Phillips is Colonel Telford in Stargate Universe, and he's excellent in it. I mean, I've said to people on this channel, my big fandom blind spot is Stargate, and I mean I love the feature, but I didn't know anything about the shows. And it is a significant science fiction series. I mean, if you look into it, you've got over a decade of material. I delved into the first season. I'm like, this is pretty good. So but I've got a lot more to go. So I'm a fan. Mm-hmm. So I'll get there. But I did not know Lou Diamond Phillips was in Stargate Universe. So I've always liked him. As an actor, I'm a Lou Diamond Phillips fan, so I think it's great. I can't wait to talk to him. Stubble McShave says, by the way, what are your thoughts? By the way, Stubble is in Sweden, and he is if anyone on my channel gets a name, Stubble is our biggest world Wheel of Time fan. Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series. Stubble McShave is like he's the Albert Einstein of Wheel of Time fans. So Stubble says, what are your thoughts on stereotypes in storytelling? In general, I don't like it, but I can see uses for it in tertiary characters. It's a shortcut to set up personality. Sometimes you don't have time to establish all the characters in three-dimensional ways. What do you think about that? I mean, I think that's kind of valid, but is it a good thing?
Whew.
I know, right? It's
yeah.
heavy. Like, ooh. Someone says, Rob, this show is decidedly not metal. Well, hang on. Fuck yeah, dude. This is fucking metal. Ah! There's your metal blast. There you go.
You're right. It's not. It's metal and it's diferente. Pero está bien. It's a different slant.
I see what you did there, man.
So I challenge you guys who are saying in the chat, "Oh, this is the metal. It's more Mexico," and that's cool, man. Go with it. Script Doctor
It's
says
not like
that,
Isai Morales in Bad Boys.
Oh, Isai.
People are like, what? I'm like, if you guys haven't seen Bad Boys, and I'm not talking Michael Bay, I'm talking Rick Rosenthal, I'm talking Ali Sheedy, Sean Penn, and Isai Morales. Oh my! And Clancy fucking Brown.
Clancy Brown.
If you haven't seen Bad Boys, you don't know what you are talking about.
And then Renee Santiago.
Oh my God, he's so good, so good.
Rest in peace.
Oh,
rest in peace.
How good! I have that on.
Paco Moreno. Paco Moreno's coming. He's getting transferred out. Paco Moreno. Paco Moreno.
It's so good. People are like, what are you talking about?
God, yeah, not Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. It's a early Sean Penn, Isai Morales movie.
Oh my God.
That's a
and
brutal
Ali
film.
Sheedy, dude, it's so brutal.
Sheedy, yeah,
and Clancy Brown as the guy who has the boombox that needs to get fixed.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, and then his best friend, the little black guy, what was his name? Like Tweety?
Yeah, it's Tweety. It's Tweety. Yes, it is. Wow, dude. I mean,
So
that is
good.
some shit, bro.
And that scene where he reads Tweety's obituary, and then everyone's like, "Whoa, who cares about that?" And he's like, "Yeah, what about?" And they ask Clancy Brown's character, "It was fucking Tweety, you assholes."
Dude, you know it. I knew you would know that. You and I have the exact same taste in movies. I mean, these films are ingrained on our souls.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good stuff.
I would
man.
think that nobody ever talks about Bad Boys. It's like a weird forgotten. I saw that shit in the theater in '81. I saw it. This is terrible to say. My grandparents, their housekeeper, Gloria, who I loved, when I would go visit them in Palm Springs, she would take me out. And man,
Take you out?
She would take me out. I'm like
Interesting.
I'm like 14. I mean, come on, man. I mean, like for anyone who understands, if you have
we understand.
if you have a beautiful Latino woman in her mid-20s who is going to take your 14-year-old white ass out, you go.
You lucky boy, you.
You go.
Amen.
And so,
Amen.
oh man, oh my God. And so she said, there's this movie that I'm like, yeah, Bad Boys, let's go. And it was transcendent for me. God, I miss those days. I mean, that was like, what, 35 years ago. But it was great.
It was a while ago, yeah.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. Yeah, it was a long time. Yeah.
Oh, real fast. Script Doctor said that Children of Men was 75 million to make.
Wow.
Back
Okay.
then.
Yeah, it wasn't cheap.
So,
Wow.
By the
No,
way,
that was not.
the official cheesemonger of, and he really is. Kaz Graphics sends in a super chat sticker. Keep it up. Thank you, Kaz Graphics. By the way, Kaz Graphics provided me his company
keep it up.
VN Graphics. He sent me this glass, which is shaped like a beer can. And I don't think I've ever owned. I feel like Linus and his blanket and the peanuts. I feel that way with this glass. I never want anything. I drink everything. I clean it out. I have water, or I have whiskey and water, or I have beer. This is a ubiquitous glass. I never want to lose it. Kaz Graphics. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have it. So thank you, Kaz, the official cheesemonger of this channel.
Did you guys also like a movie called The Mambo Kings?
Of course. I have the sound. I have the CD of that. I have the soundtrack. But the
soundtrack
movie's,
soundtrack's the best part of the movie.
The movie's not
Yes.
great. It's not great.
The book was good. Actually,
Yeah.
the book was good.
The movie was.
The casting was a mess. I mean, again, you know, maybe they should redo that movie now. I mean, you have Armand Assad and Antonio Banderas playing Cuban brothers.
Yes.
Yeah.
God bless Armand Assad, man.
Yeah.
know,
Nothing is better than him with his. He's not wearing socks and he's wearing loafers in Q&A. Q&A. If you guys haven't seen Sidney Lumet's Q&A, my God, or Little Darlings, the forgotten Paramount film where he plays a camp counselor who takes the virginity of one of the girls.
Was it Christine McNichol?
Christy McNichol and Tatum O'Neal. Yes.
Yeah, I think it was...
Yes.
I remember that.
Oh, I'll bet you do. I'll bet you do. By the way, go ahead.
Speaking of, like, you know, taking a virgin, this is not about taking a virginity, but there's another film. There's another film called Eva Syndrome, which is one of the film festivals. And this particular film, it says that it's a tale of adventure and erotica. But the thing that grabbed me about it is that it's a bunch of young kids who kind of like are at a party. They leave the party and they find this love shack from the 1970s. And in the love shack, it's like all these sort of like 70s memorabilia, but all sorts of like erotic things around them. And they kind of like explore themselves. You know, I kind of thought it was very interesting approach to, you know, of course, like when you're a young person, you always want to find someplace you can go and be private with someone. So they come across the shack that is just perfect for all of that stuff. And I just thought it was intriguing. They said it's, you know, one of the best films of the year. So it's called Eva Syndrome. So
this year?
Wow. When you see a faded sign by the side of the road, it says Love Shack.
That's right.
Baby.
I just heard that the other day.
God. It's premiering in one of the film festivals this year. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, can we see it, or you're just?
Yes, you can. Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'll let you know which festival, but it is. Yes, you can see it. It's there. Everybody's, you know, talking about how great it is. So your story, Robert, and Little Darlings made me think of that film.
I mean, you know, Little Darlings, that movie, by the way, is nowhere. Like I owned that. I don't know why I had that I think it was night. So for those of you who don't know, Little Darlings is a movie that starred Christy McNichol, who came from a show called Family. And Tatum O'Neal, and it was two girls who went to summer camp. One was rich and one was from the wrong side of the tracks. And they end up in a contest to lose their virginity. And one falls in love with Matt Dillon. And why not? And then there's Armand Assad, who is like this handsome man who should not be involved with any of them.
Way too sexy to be around.
Yeah, oh my God.
Girls.
and it's about two girls trying to lose. This movie would never get made now. As a matter of fact, by the way, it's a great movie. And Cynthia Nixon from Sex and the City is in her She plays the hippie chick, the hippie like 13-year-old. I'm in touch with my chakra. I mean, it's and it is a lost teen film. It was between Meatballs and Caddyshack, and it's about two girls who basically want to fuck for the first time, which is not something that will fly today. You do not see people going, like when they show Fast Times at Ridgemont High and Phoebe Cates comes out of the swimming pool and expose her boobs to Moving in Stereo. Little Darlings is not that. You do not have people going, wow, Little Darlings, it's not like Bill Murray and Meatballs. Man, this movie, I swear to God, it's a Paramount film. It's been suppressed. No one talks about it. I think it's actually a pretty good movie. I watched on cable.
It's a good one too.
It's a good movie. By the way,
did you see it?
Little Darlings.
Little Darlings.
You must have seen it, Paulie. It was like on TV occasionally.
It was on cable forever.
I mean, I remember, but it's been decades, man.
Yeah.
So that one we'll have to go see, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you have to see it. Fortunato says this show is metalachi.
Yeah, so that is I don't know where they're from, but that is an actual metal band, Metalachi.
I love it.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's another band from Mexico that's kind of real hardcore. They're called Doctor Crapula. Doctor Crapula.
I love it.
Yeah, there you go. There's your medal. Got one of
I think Tom is here. Midnight's Edge After Dark
those.
says, I've got a deep cut for you. The Wildlife, the lost Cameron Crowe film, excellent film, like a sequel to Fast Times. Well, Tom, Kino Lorber is putting out The Wildlife, and I agree. It is. It's not very good, but it is the lost Cameron Crowe film. He did write it, and you are correct. But it's coming out. I think it was Kino Lorber that released it, so you can get it. Sonny Dominguez sends in a super chat and says, "Anyone see My Family or Price of Glory?" Jimmy Smits.
You know, yes, and that's probably another thing we can. Price of Glory is from Carlos Avila, and it starred Jimmy Smits. Both starred Jimmy Smits, but that was a boxing film, and that family was from like the border of Tucson, and it kind of came and went, but it's a good little film. It's a good little film. That would be interesting to get a panel on because Jimmy just got his Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yeah.
And Carlos is pretty accessible, and that had a great soundtrack. Pretty good little story. And then, of course, Mi Familia was another Nava film.
Yep.
That was a multi-generational story.
Yeah, and Rita Moreno's in Mi Familia, right?
No.
She's not?
I
I'm
don't.
sorry.
It doesn't ring it. And no. The matriarch was played by Jenny Gaggle,
Okay.
and Eddie's in it. Jimmy's in it. You know, it's multi-generational, so different eras. They're adults of the same family.
Yeah.
Whatever, you know. Yeah, it's not a bad film.
My cheesemonger of this channel, Kaz Graphics, again, thank you for this glass. Kaz says, I'm on press now testing a few Marvel concepts. Shh. But if you need more cheese to spread around, let me know. Kaz, I always need more cheese. Okay, first of all, let me tell you, I don't know if Kaz Graphics has money in this company or whatever. He's connected to Beecher's Homemade Cheese that's in Seattle and New York. Now, I was unaware of this company before Kaz, a viewer of this channel, hooked me up. And I'd read that it was Oprah's favorite mac and cheese. So, you know, when people tell you these things, like, okay, great. What does that mean? I don't know. So Kaz sends us. I mean, it's like you don't know.
Yeah. No, I just love your little side info there.
Well, yeah. So he sends me some of this cheese.
Yeah.
It's fucking unbelievable. And then Oprah's favorite mac and cheese. I mean, he sends us this like these. I can't even tell you. It's that good. It's that good. And by the way, this is no endorsement. They're not paying me to say this, but it was that good. And so Kaz sends me this stuff, and I'm like, "Do you know these people? Or do you how are you able to send us these wonderful things?" And I'm like, perhaps I just shouldn't ask and just eat and drink. But my God, Kaz Graphics, let me tell you, when you ask me, well, do you need more cheese to spread around? My answer is always, God damn it, yes. Because just today, Elizabeth gets organic hot dogs. And I'm like shaving off the Beecher's Homemade Cheese onto the hot dogs before I eat them.
Yep.
It's unbelievable. So yes, Kaz, I need more Beecher's cheese. Send me. It's like Gary Oldman in The Professional. Send me everyone. I mean, I would say, Kaz, Send me all of the Beecher's cheese. I need it now. Please. Thank you. So,
Is he the same guy that does your cup?
Well, yeah, this is his graphic design company. They do. I mean, I've never met him, so I don't understand.
What does it say in your cup?
Well, it just says VN Graphics. So this is his graphic design company. I would assume maybe VN Graphics does Beecher's cheese design. I have no idea. I've never actually spoken to Kaz. He says he's going to come on the show. And I'm like, of all the people I want to meet, because he's actually a phenomenal artist. I mean,
I'd like to get a Latino slant cup like that. That's pretty cool.
Well, you know what? I think he could hook you up.
Or do like a little logo on there. It looks like a beer drink. That's cool.
I know, right? And they have, I'm sure his graphic, because they already know where the glasses are. I mean, this is a beer can glass. I love this. I love wrapping my lips around it. I like, it's so good. And he actually sent me a one of his shirts, like a polo shirt with a VN Graphics. It's so comfortable. It's a great shirt. I'm sure he's sitting there cringing, going, "Why are they talking about me? Why?
It's okay.
Why?
It's okay.
It's the cheese.
It is the cheese." And you know what? I don't mean that ironically. I mean fucking Beecher's homemade cheese. You know what? Like I've told people, I just want to chop it up and make a giant Tony Montana mountain of it and just be like, and hoover that cheese up, just like right in.
Wow.
You know, I take the cheese, I'll be like, oh my God.
It is delicious.
So good. It is so good.
Yeah.
Oh my
Paulie, I wanted to ask you.
Everyone's like, what are you doing, Rob? I know that's the problem with this channel. If you don't know,
you don't know. Did you hear the beginning of Robert's stream this, I was going to say this morning for me, where he was talking about that article that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar wrote? Did you get a chance to hear? Were you here for that?
No. I mean, I caught the last end of it, like where you put up your super chat about it.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I didn't catch the conversation.
I was just, I wish I was kind of going to ask you your opinion about it because it was a very good article that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar wrote about award ceremonies.
In the Hollywood Reporter.
Yes, it's in the Hollywood Reporter, and I just was, had you read it, I would have asked you a little bit more about it. But his article actually is titled "Just What Are Award Shows Awarding," and I just thought that was very interesting. How Kareem, who's been in the industry for so long, you know, not just a fantastic athlete, as I said in my super chat, but he's also been in the entertainment industry. We've seen him in so many films, right? Through the years, he's done comedy. Wasn't he in a kung fu film?
Yeah,
he was in. I can't remember the name of the film. Yeah, right, and so he's, you know, been in every aspect almost of, you know, been in Hollywood. He was in Airplane. You know, the classic Airplane comedy. You know, and it's not easy for him to be there doing comedy with all those other, you know, more experienced comedians, but he held his own as a pilot in that. And I just wanted to mention that I think he had such a good point about the award show situation and getting back to this peer pressure idea. He had made a comment about whether or not the changes were made for altruistic reasons versus monetary reasons. Yeah. And, you know, and clearly it seems like the things that are being changed are for monetary reasons. But, you know, I think that I'm hoping that we're going to be at a breaking point now where industry is just going to say, you know, we have to make a decision on our own, and not just because so many people are approaching us demanding that we make a change in that way. You know, so that's what I was thinking about that article. But did you?
I mean, I'm reading it right now.
Oh, thank you, Paulie.
You know, my thing with the Grammys, and you know, with any organization that you belong to, you're not always going to agree with everything of the organization that you're part of. I don't agree with everything that my particular religion that I'm a part of, but that's what I'm a part of, right? And you know, so with the Grammys, you know, they do an incredible amount of work in the community, and in particular this past year with musicians who've been out of work. I know firsthand top musicians that have received healthcare money benefits through the Music Cares program. So, you know, it's easy to take shots, and there's going to be corruption. You know, that happens in any organization. What else do they do? So that's my first thought as I'm reading this.
Right.
By the way, I just want to say I put in the live chat the scene from Game of Death where Kareem Abdul-Jabbar fights Bruce Lee.
Yes.
And it's unbelievable.
Yes, it is.
That's metal.
You haven't seen it. He towers above Bruce Lee, and it is. I think it's one of the most iconic.
That was his teacher.
Moments, yeah, in kung fu movie history. So if you have never seen it, it's there in the live chat.
And at the time, was Kareem the number one basketball player in the United States? Was he, or what was?
No,
was
I think it was maybe later. Maybe later he became, but
he was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, newly anointed. He was Lou Alcindor with the UCLA Bruins, and then first he was a Milwaukee Buck, and then he was a Laker. He was a star. I mean, he was the first to do a lot of what he did. He was an incredible. Changed the game the way Jordan did.
I just don't know where. I think it was 73 or something. I don't know where he was in his career because it's funny in Airplane, which I still think is one of the funniest movies ever made. I mean, it's funny. And the kid's like, "Aren't you Kareem Abdul-Jabbar? My father says you don't try except during the playoffs." And when he's like, "Listen, kid," he grabs listen, kid, you try and drag Bill Walton up and down for 50 minutes. I mean, he's so good. That was 41 years ago.
Right.
Airplane came out 41 years ago, and he's writing columns in the Hollywood Reporter that I'm talking about tonight. I mean, that's incredible to me. And he's in Game of Death. Like one of the most iconic moments in American, worldwide kung fu. If you watch the clip I posted, it's amazing.
And so, kind of working on that same theme, these film festivals it seems like studios seem to be put under pressure to make changes. Let's say, like in the article, or studios or whomever, comic book companies, are independent film or film festivals put under this type of pressure as well, or not?
Well, look, I think that the whole thing, there's so many film festivals now, and they're all jockeying for something that they all want to make money. They have to keep themselves going. I think that there's so many film festivals now, and everybody, I think there's a genuine desire to get movies that people don't get to see in various parts of the world, and that's what the original impulse is. It's all about the art, but I do think that once you have to deal with the reality of, filmmakers our film festival has to, or our debut has to be at like Sundance or something, and
yes,
okay, that's not going to happen, and then you have to get into the whole. It's a weird thing. I mean, for me, like Tango Shalom is you've seen it, and I will tell you, as proud as I am of the work, it is not going to set the world on fire. It is a small, very tiny, low-budget, independent movie that I think delights those who are predisposed to like it. But, no one I know, there's not one person I know that I could send Free Enterprise to send Tango Shalom to and say, "Watch this, you'll love it." I am so proud of the work we did, but it is the last movie that anybody I know will watch. That's why your positive review of the film meant so much to me, because I mean we've just gotten to know each other, but no, it really did, because you took it in the spirit it's intended. Like what's interesting is you can look at it and go, okay, here's a movie that was made for a low budget, and it was done for what it was done for, and everyone tried their best and all that. You got that. But most of the people I know think they're going to see Apocalypse Now, even though it's Tango Shalom. And I'm like, it's not that. There is no giant helicopter attack on a beach in Vietnam. I mean, there's none of that. It is what it is. It was made for very little money, and we tried to make it the best we could, and I'm damn proud of that. But your commentary on the film was one of the first that I felt got it for what it is.
Ooh,
and
cool.
Thank you.
I really thank you, and because I'm really proud of it. But when people watch movies, and this is the thing that I've told people a lot, and is that your 2-hour block of time. Let's take 2 hours out of your life, and in those 2 hours, you can do whatever you want. You can watch, like this show has gone on for longer than 2 hours. You can watch YouTube. You can watch a streaming show on Netflix, where you can watch a movie.
Right.
That 2 hours of time is the same. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if a movie you watch costs $100 million, or in the case of Tango Shalom, less than $1 million. It's still 2 hours of your time. And so what's most important is your time, not the movie. And is your time being spent well? So if you watch Tango Shalom, if somebody writes me and says, that kind of sucked, what kills me is that I'm thinking, you're 2 hours closer to your death and you hated my movie.
Wow.
Because you could have watched something else.
Right.
And that's what vexes me. Is like I wish I could make a movie where those 2 hours were golden for everyone.
Well, I
It's
think
good
that I'm sorry, Paulie.
Go
I
ahead.
think that we're looking at films, and we're talking about films we love and different things of how they're made and the contributions the film has made to society. And I think Tango Shalom is one of those films that is making a contribution. But we also have to look at films in specific context as well. What audience was the film perhaps meant for, or what was the film trying to accomplish? If it's not a superhero film, then perhaps you shouldn't expect the superhero context from it, and go from there. If you're going to see a romance, perhaps you're not expecting an action film. And so while those seem very clear, I think that people create expectations when they go to see a film, but it is really important to kind of just keep an open mind when you watch a film. Sometimes you go into a film and you don't even know what you're going to see. Like you remember those days when you would go out with your friends, like, we're going to go see a movie. No one could agree.
I love those days.
And you didn't know what this film was about. And you'd have to keep looking, what's the name of this movie again? You didn't know, but maybe it was a great film. And for the most part, many of them were good films. But, I think that you really just be open, and I hope that a lot of people just be open to a film. Sometimes it's the most amazing film you've seen, and sometimes it's not, but just to be open about it. To whoever made it, that was an amazing film for them. So that's something that it's a work of art. So that's something that you really need to keep in mind when you're watching films, even if it's not.
I totally agree. And by the way, considering my cheesemonger Kaz Graphics sends in another super chat and says,
Wow.
as an artist and business owner supporting creators is a tax write-off. Laugh out loud. But seriously, Rob, if your panel needs a package from VN Graphics and Beechers, I'll send it.
Wow.
I just want to send love and support. Well, Kaz, I can't speak for myself, but let me ask Paulie and let me ask, Latino Slanton. Would the two of you be interested in receiving a care package from Beecher's Handmade Cheese? And also, VN Graphics, so you could get this glass just like I have. Would that be something you might be interested in?
Sure. Thank you. Yes. It sounds interesting. Paulie, you mentioned that you wanted to get something with your graphic on it, Paulie.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll do even a little video of me opening up whatever he sends.
Well, you know what you should send me. I think VN Graphics should do a thing for you. Like they should make a Latino slant like class or something.
Why? I was just saying whatever I can do to, share the love and let people know about what he does, that's the least I can do. Thank you. Thank you, by the way. Thank you for the offer. Yay, I'm excited.
That's very kind.
I have to tell you something that about Kaz. I love hearing people's voices. One of my things is hearing someone's voice. I love the dulcet tones. I love people's voices. I've never spoken to Kaz Graphics. And he's been an incredible supporter of my channel. I don't know what he sounds like. I know what he looks like, but I don't know what he sounds like. And I almost feel like, man, dude, and I've never asked him because, it's weird. You make friends on YouTube and social media. If I were to say, Kaz, can I call you on the phone? I mean, it's so weird because I'm like, I don't want him to think like, well, maybe he's like, well, that's kind of strange. But I just want to hear how he says hello.
That's interesting because what I want to do with you guys, is when we meet is like, how tall are they? How do they interact in person? Because one of my buddies who I've gotten to know here, 32 Flavors of Nick Weiser, he looks like a tall, lanky guy, and he was telling me he's like 5'5" or 5'6". I'm like, no,
But you're right.
So, yeah,
like you just don't know.
Right.
And look, I don't care what people look like. I love everyone, but I do like to know. Like you want to see people. You want to know, like, do you wear cologne? And if so, what kind of cologne is it? And do you drink beer? And what is your what if you're drinking a bottled beer? What is that bottled beer? I want to know.
Right.
Like, and it's so strange, especially in the last year. I've met more people than I've met in my entire life on the internet for the last year. And I don't know any of them. I want to know them.
Well, Cameron came over, right? And Cameron Pasha came over to the house, and me and Romy had had a meal with him, and he brought over like some Indian like a dessert dish. It was just so cool to meet him. It was just and it was also kind of strange, but it was like, oh, this is because
you're not. I want to meet him too.
Yeah, he seems like a great guy.
Well, he's always smiling, and I'm like, I want to meet that dude.
But that was quite the experience. And then I finally met Mike. I finally met Mexican Iron Man, and we actually hung out. And we saw a ball game up in Oakland, and we road tripped down here, and I was so happy, man. I was so happy.
Isn't it great though that
it is great.
that this COVID year has created these bonds across the internet, and we meet people, and I find it very uplifting.
Well, I want to meet you in person. I want to meet Tom in person.
Yeah, me too. I want to meet Andre, Tom, Rob, Mecha Random. I mean, all those. Although I don't know about Rob or what's going on, but I don't get. But I have no idea. But I do. I because like before I knew them.
Yeah.
Like Midnight's Edge, like I watched their videos. So they were like a part of, before I even knew. I didn't even know they could be a part of my life, and now I've like streamed with them, and I'm like, oh my god! And Tom is such a sweet guy. He's always like including me, and for me, I'm like, thanks, man. That's so nice.
Yeah,
of
Tom
you.
is great.
Yeah, and I feel like, am I worthy? And then he's like, no, you're okay. I'm like, okay.
That's how I felt when I was first streamed with you guys. I was like, oh my god, these are people I was like watching, and I was like,
I know, right?
Like I geeked out when that happened with John Talks. He was kind of him and Gary were my gateway,
Right.
Right.
Just cool people, man.
Well, I mean, to me, one of the things that was most tickled me about the quarantine was meeting Az, heel versus babyface.
You met Az?
Yeah.
And
In person?
no, not personally.
Okay.
We've never met. He's
okay.
he's in Yorkshire. He's a Yorkshire man.
Right.
But
Yeah.
like we met on, I think on a Midnight's Edge stream, became friends, and I love Az. I think he's a very, very smart guy, and I appreciate his sense of humor, and we went through the Prisoner. We did all 17 episodes of The Prisoner. We did one other episode of Preamble, so we did 18 streams.
Wow.
And when it was over, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, oh, like I loved streaming with him, and I really liked him, and he has such a keen mind, and I was like, well, now what? And it was Az. He was like, oh, we should do a show where we just talk about our Hot Toys figures and action. And I'm like,
And you guys did the Prisoner series too.
yeah, so we did that for 18 episodes, and then it was over. I'm like, what now? And then I which I thought was great, but I'm like, Az, who's gonna watch that show? Like,
Well,
who's gonna, bruh?
I got something I got something for Az, and I know you guys started Hot Toys, but me and Tom have put this together, and I'm sending this off to Az.
Oh,
And
Wow.
I can't wait to see it.
It's I'll just give you a little preview.
Oh my
But
goodness.
I got like like Mexican chips and stuff.
Oh,
So we got
oh man,
Sabritas Fiesta Mix.
Oh
and-
wow. That's nice. That's really nice
Wow.
and very thoughtful.
Got a Midnight's Edge T-shirt. I'll just do one more. Let me see what else I got. I don't want to. Oh, a sponge. A sponge, and it's marshmallow cookies, coconut, and strawberry. These are so good.
Oh, yummy.
you should demand that he eats these online, like
On
live.
Yes.
Yeah,
on air. Yeah,
he does. Yeah,
So that's
and
so
does.
funny. But we're putting this together because it's like this guy's so cool. Like when we're streaming with him, like he's got a passion for all things. He's just a cool.
I mean,
He really does.
yeah, we did 18 Prisoner streams, and now we've done 26 Hot Toys toy
Hot
streams.
Toys, yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, people are still watching this. It gets bigger every week, and I'm like, I feel like it's so crazy. But on the other hand, you know what? It kind of works. It's all good. Why shouldn't they watch us? We're genuine.
It's true. And I had watched Az over the years, and I hadn't subscribed to his channel, but last year, it was around Memorial Day, 2020, and he came on, like he had a stream, and he was talking about, someone had written an article that was not very nice about Captain America, the character. And, like it was a hit piece towards Captain America.
I remember that. Yep.
And Az got on there and he defended Captain America and how important it is, and how whoever did this to put it out on Memorial Day was very disrespectful, and I was like, I got to subscribe to this guy's channel. I was like, he had, just the fact that he even cared so much to do that, it just shows the type of integrity that he has. So I was a fan before, but I was even more of a fan after that.
Oh yeah, I mean, to me, he's a singular. He's so smart and so funny, and I love doing what we do. And it's funny, like we didn't even know if we were going to do Prisoner episodes. Like I've never. It's so funny to me. Like I've never met him. Like we've never sat down together, and yet we've spent a year doing streaming on the interwebs, and it's been wonderful. I've loved it. It's uplifted my life. It's made me a better person. I enjoy it so much, but I've never met him. It's so weird. Like, I've done so much work with him, and yet I feel like I want to call him up, bruh. Let's meet at the local pub. Let's have a beer. Let's have a pint. I can't. He's not even in London. He's in Yorkshire. I would have to travel and go to land at Heathrow and be like, well, sir, it's a 2-hour ride. I'm like, it doesn't matter. I'm going to his house. You know,
it's been a fruitful collaboration for sure. I mean, you know, it's been wonderful, especially with The Prisoner, because I don't know about you, Paulie, but I had seen The Prisoner. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know the name of the show. I didn't know what it was. But once again, my father and brother were watching it, and you know, like, and I would see what they were watching. You remember back then, you couldn't press a button and find out what the name of anything was. Like the only way to find out is if you had the TV guide. And my father guarded that thing. You know, like I never saw the TV guide. Like I knew it came in, but I never got it. So I always wondered what it was, and I watched, you know, the entire thing, and they loved it, only to find out many years later that it's called The Prisoner. So
well, here's what I find so crazy about it. So Az and I discover our mutual love for this show. We do 18 streams about The Prisoner.
Right.
And then we start doing a show about action figures. While we started the show about action figures, somebody gets the license to make Prisoner action figures for the very first time.
Wow.
So while we're doing that, they launch a Kickstarter campaign that, by the way, ended last week. So we already did a Prisoner show. They got the rights, and then Az and I pledge to this, like, who in 2021 some random person decides, I'm going to make Prisoner action figures from a show that aired in 1967. While Az and I are doing shows about The Prisoner and action figures. And somebody decides to make Prisoner action figures while we're doing our shows. And both of us are like, fuck yeah, man, send that shit to us. Yes.
It's remarkable. It's not a coincidence.
No, but I also think that, why didn't they call us? Like, of all the people, Az has like 250,000 subscribers. I mean, and they got like 2,000, 2,500 paying money. But I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, not that I think less of myself, but I'm like, my God, like we would have promoted that shit. No one would have had to pay it. Well, you know, give us a free whatever. But we were the one. I mean, Az has way more subscribers than I do, but collectively 300,000 worldwide. I'm like, and we were waxing rhapsodic about the fact that, my God, someone is making Prisoner action figures. We couldn't believe it, and it happened during our watch, and that's why I love the world. Because I didn't know Az. We start streaming about this obscure TV show, and then we start doing an action figure show, and then someone makes action figures about the obscure show we worked on. The synergy there is, I mean, if you didn't believe in God then, I believe in God now. I mean, it's just crazy. The whole thing is nuts.
That's so neat because, you know, I met you through Loki. That was our first stream.
Yep.
And Loki's really helped me get to, you know, where our little channel is at. I mean, like, he was the first to say, come and do the DC fandom stream with me. With all, you know, I was like, who are all these people? He's, you know, he's a great voice. And it's just, you know, I can't wait to meet him. I've seen him. We have talked, and I have seen it because that's important to me too, is because there's a lot of us that still, you know, not hide, but, you know, that use the logo, the avatar, and that's fine. I get it. It's just that when we're talking, like, you know, like me and Tom now are, we talk on the phone, whatever. It's great to know the face with the voice.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Right.
You know, so I look I look forward to meeting all you guys in person one day. You know,
Yeah.
especially after what we've all have been through in this past, over a year now. It's just,
Yeah.
it's
I mean, I
you get
look
emotional.
forward to it
You
too.
get emotional. Yeah,
No,
bro.
You do, and like I can't wait to come to your house and meet you and hang out and just just talk with the sun shining down on us.
Yeah.
Being outside, breathing in the air, like
outside.
I miss just going to someone's house and hanging out, like someone's grilling something and you've got a beer in your hand and you're just outside. Like everything has been so inside, and
Yes.
even here where we live, no one comes over here, and it's been such a strange thing. But on the other hand, it created this internet community where we're all intertwined, we're all streaming and talking, and which has been really cool. And while it might not be optimal, it is kind of great that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've met so many great people, like you, and you too. I mean, it's been a really. I hate to say it, but the COVID year was a very positive experience for me.
Well, there's silver linings. Yeah.
I hate to say it. I mean, yes, have I left this garage? Not much. But the observatory has changed and grown, and I look around, I'm like,
yeah,
I like it here. Like everything I want is like within. I can walk around. I know where everything is. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I can pull this disc out or listen to this CD or whatever. It's people are like, you have CDs? Yes, I do. But
I mean, it's very true that YouTube has allowed us all to find one another.
Yes.
And, and we have a way to communicate in this way. And whether we get to see the photograph of who you're talking to, sometimes you don't, but clearly, it's something that I feel like I needed it. So I can't speak for both of you, but I feel like
I'm right there with you. Yeah.
And it was almost like therapy for me, or, I feel like this is a community almost like a family, but let's just say this community, I feel like I belong to it. I don't feel like an outsider. So
no, you do. You absolutely do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that light coming out of through your window?
It is 5:42 a.m.
Wow.
Yeah.
My God. By the way, Paulus Plain sends in a super chat and says, Midnight Metal, happy birthday, 5th of June, 1952, age 68, for Nico McBain, drummer of the British Iron Maiden. Oh my God.
Happy
Check
birthday.
out Iron Maiden, The Prisoner. Oh, I know. Iron Maiden sang a song about number 6. Yes, they did. If
Yes.
you are not, yes, they did. And Paulus Plain, thank you for pointing that out. My God, his birthday is June 5th, 1952. So you know
like
what this truly is. If there's one band that's metal, it's fucking Iron Maiden.
Yes.
So metal.
Yeah.
Saberwolf says, question Rob and Polly.
Yep.
Who had the stronger gang, in your opinion? La M or Launda? My vote is Launda, Carlos and Magic and Geronimo. Too many heavy hitters. That's a good question, actually.
I mean, in the movies,
Well, that's the thing. Like the movie world is one. I think he's saying the movies. I think he's saying.
Yeah. I mean, La Onda versus La M. There's something very, very disturbing and dark about American Me. So I think I'd have to go with La M. There's always a silver lining of hope and humor with La Onda.
I know it's like Launda. You want to join it? It's like I'll join them. I mean, would they have some white dude from Seattle? Because I would join them.
My favorite. We'll change hats right now, but it's like It's like this now. I'm in now I'm in La Onda, man. You know,
Absolutely perfect. Paulie.
The funny thing is here's the thing. Like when you join a gang, you want to feel like you belong. And I would say like part of belonging is feel like you look good. Like, hey, at the end of the day, look at you in that hat right now. Come on, how good do you look? Come on, dude. You could walk into anywhere and be like, "Hi."
Yeah.
And that's all you have to say. How are you? Give that little smile.
I don't even have to say a word.
Right.
Just walk in.
Yeah, just walk in the hat.
And I walk in with Mrs. Slant.
Oh, dude. So there's your answer. Like the difference is La M Alonda. Like it could just be a hat. A hat can change the world. And you just proved it on this stream as you changed hats. My God. How cool is that?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And so Saberwolf's like, it's a good question, though. That's a really good question because, you know, when it comes down, it's all about philosophy. What do you believe? What are you trying to do? What are you fighting for? Are you just a sociopath that wants to, like, do violence against other people? Or do you have a cause? Do you have a belief system? And I think that a lot of people, you know, they get confused. They want to have a belief system, but they only feel alive when they're cracking heads. And they might not like that, but they're like, why don't I believe what you believe? Like, we're both on the same team. Well, people are different. And
man, I was like...
One hat can change the difference, as you demonstrated tonight on Midnight Metal. Fucking fact.
Are you guys going to see any movies next week or this weekend or anything like that?
Well, I haven't seen A Quiet Place 2, which I really, but the thing I want to see most is New Order. The Mexican film, which is playing it in Burbank. I will do whatever. Tomorrow, I'm showing my film Free Enterprise at a cigar bar in Hollywood. And if I wasn't doing that, I would want to go see. No, I know. Wow. Someone asked me, and I'm like, okay, well, you should come if you can. But it's late. I know it's a last minute thing. It's at 2:00. I've never been to this place in Hollywood. I don't know, but somebody I know that has a guy respect. He wrote a book. His father was a 60s radical that was jailed in Attica, and when the prison uprising happened, he was killed.
Oh shit!
And he wrote a book about that. So his name's Josh, and I'm very curious to. Anyway, don't mean to bum anyone out.
No, it's okay. What about you, Paulie?
I mean, I gotta do some videos on those movies I told you about. You know, to get the word out on the channel. As far as what I need to do is I need to rewatch Stand and Deliver. And then I want to watch. Me too. I actually do want to watch certain parts of American Me. I need to get ready for my Wednesday night show. I have an historian and an editor coming on to talk about the 78th anniversary of the Zoot Suit riots. So we're going to be talking about that on the show. Wow. So I might need to see a couple little bit, you know, little clips here and there. But
and that will come up obviously in our conversation with Mr. Olmos.
But yeah, Quiet Place. See, now Quiet Place, that's a movie that Mrs. Slant and I can watch together. Those don't happen a lot.
Right.
Do not happen a lot. She's not a zombie person. She is definitely not a superhero person. Quiet Place, thrillers. She loves great thrillers, you know. So yeah, but you know, Quiet Place is definitely a good idea. Did we watch Dance with 41 together? I don't think so. But yeah. Oh, and we're gonna watch the fights tomorrow night.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
We're big UFC fans.
Yeah, tomorrow night's a big night.
Yeah, so you know. And someone I mentioned earlier about Wagner, the Brazilian actor playing Pablo Escobar. That was quite a feat. He did quite a great job in Narcos. Mrs. Slant, Romy is a Portuguese Brazilian, so It's always a great feat when a Portuguese or Brazilian can play a Latino role, like, and can nail it. And
Right.
Wagner did a great job as Pablo Escobar.
By the way, my favorite cheesemonger, Kaz Graphics, says, "I'm out, Rob. Thanks for the amazing entertainment. You know I'm on Instagram. Good night. I'll hook tonight's panel up."
Oh, thank
Gonna
you.
listen to some
Do some
Deftones.
Deftones. Nice.
Yeah, there you
Imagine
go. Kaz is
listening
the
to
man.
Deftones as you go to bed.
Living in Seattle. I mean, my God, he will hook you guys up. It's so funny because I feel like I have a relationship with him, but
You do.
we've never. I know, and he's been a supporter like for a year, and he's not just because he sent us things, but he's been just kind and interested and fun and participatory. I just want to sit down and have a beer with him, just to talk, to hear his voice. I just want to hear the dulcet tones of Cat. I don't even know what his full name is. And I like, in my mind, if I would see him, he'd come up to me and go, "Hey, Rob, I'm Kaz Graphics." I'm like, I don't even know your name, man. What's your name? He's probably like, "Oh, it's Bill. It's John.
It's Bill.
It's
Bob.
It's
It's
you know,
Bob.
or it's it's just I'm Stanley." Gabe, whatever. But in my mind, he's like. What's funny is when you don't meet people over the internet, they become mythical to you. I mean, maybe like they're myths. They're you see them online, and you like them and you interact with them. But sometimes I feel when I meet them, they should have wings like Archangel and or Angel and the X-Men. Like there are people that are going to be. They look in your mind and they know your thoughts. And I know this is just me, but when I meet people, I'm like, I meet them in meat space. I'm like, oh my God, it freaks me out. I'm like, it's so good, and I probably come off like some crazy person. I'm like, it's so good to meet you, and in their minds they're hearing, it's so good to meet you. But in my mind, I'm all sincere, like, oh my God, it's so good to meet you. But how weird is that? Like, even me going, it's so. Can you imagine if you're sitting across from me and we meet for the first time, like Polly? I'll be like, oh my God,
I know it could be
it's
weird.
so good to, and you'll be like, yeah, Rob, it's great to
Pleasure's mine.
And I'll be like, oh my God, Polly, let me just tell you, Latino Slant, so good. I just love what you do. It's just the music, the people. Thank God you do what you do. Oh, and I don't even know what that impression was. Many different things. No, but you'll be like, well, Rob, it's great to meet you. Romy's here making some food, and she'll come out when she's not or not busy. And I'll be like, Polly, your backyard is more miraculous than I even imagined it could be. Like the smells of the cooking meat and the beer, it's so good. I mean, you know what I mean? Like you don't meet people. It's just crazy. You don't know. And of course, I could be the opposite. But like, yeah, whatever, dude. So, Polly, it's nice to meet you. I mean, whatever. It's fine.
Robert and Polly, refresh my memory. When are you having your interview next week? What day is it again?
The 10th.
Thursday.
The 10th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Noon Pacific.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the Richard keeps asking about The Sleep Dealer, a low-budget Mexican film similar to The Matrix. I know of it, and I have not. I need to see that film.
Perhaps you could borrow my Blu-ray.
You have it?
Oh yes, I
do. Look at you.
Yes, Sleep Dealer. Yes, sir. I do own it.
Oh, okay.
And you know what? When I come to your house, I'm happy to bring it over. I don't loan my Blu-rays to anyone ever, but for you, Polly.
Yes.
I'll make an exception only because you know what I want to do is the first time we meet, we have to live stream that shit. Like Like,
Oh,
and
that'd be
from both of our phones.
Oh my
We'll, like,
God.
live stream, and I will bring Sleep Dealer, and I'll be like reluctant. People will be like, "Oh my
Can you-
God!" I'll be like,
Yeah.
Polly, here's the Sleep Dealer Blu-ray."
You'll give it back. You'll give it back. It'll be perfect. Don't worry.
No one ever gives any shit back. It's fine. No one ever.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't. If I'm going to bring my Sleep Dealer disc to Polly, and by the way, I want him to have it. I want him to puzzle over it and report about it. Because why shouldn't he? And that's what fellowship really is.
Mm.
But I do own it on Blu-ray. Yes, I do.
Goodness.
Well, there you go. There's your answer, though, Richard. I will be checking it out then on R&B's Blu-ray.
No, I'll bring it over. Listen, gentle beings, I think we should call it a night only because I have to. I want to say,
idea.
Yeah, first of all, and Polly, Latino Slant, I cannot tell you how much I enjoy being live on the internet with the two of you. So thank you so much. What a great midnight metal stream. Again, fuck yeah. But it's great to have such great conversation with some good people.
Yeah.
It's very uplifting, and I want to thank you both for being here. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for the invite, Rob.
Oh man, for sure. Now, Polly, where can people find you on the internet?
The Latino Slant. Please subscribe to me, and we have weekly shows and weekly interviews with some great people, and I'm always doing videos on great stuff out of the Latino culture, from music to film to even people starting their own businesses, doing some really cool and unique things. There's just it's a good little spot on YouTube called the Latino Slant.
Now, Miss She of the multiple master's degrees, can people find you online?
Excuse me. You can find me at under RIMO at freshmusicfreaks.com.
What is freshmusicfreaks.com?
It's the venue that I write for live music events. We cover mainly electronic dance music, but we cover a majority of live music events. So
that's fantastic.
You can find, yeah, thank you.
I mean, I love EDM. I'm a big fan. So that's very cool. And so all of you should follow and participate and find these lovely people, because and Polly of Latino Slant, they're people you want to know. And I want to thank both of you for being on tonight's Midnight Metal episode 20 of a show that was a one-off joke. And now it's 20 episodes in. And tomorrow we're doing another one. Dave Parker, my co-host, will be back with perhaps a special guest. Who knows? But I want to thank you both, and I will bid you a good evening. I hope everyone goes to see a movie tomorrow. And I'm going to a cigar bar to show free enterprise to people. That could be fun. In the afternoon, I can drink and smoke cigars at 2 in the afternoon. That's crazy. I never do that until tomorrow. Or actually, until later today. So very exciting. But thank you for both being here. You've made my evening, the two of you. So I will bid you all farewell. I'm going to bring an end to episode 20 of Midnight Metal. I want to thank all of you imagination connoisseurs. I want to thank my wrenches. Bunyan Snipe is here from the UK. The Richard, of course, one of the foundational members of this community. He is here, and that is so great. And Darren J. Seeley is here. And Simon Gilmore was here. Thank you all for being great wrenches. And I want to say thanks to everybody who supports the channel with super chats and tips. And if you want to send me a letter, or us a letter, or any of us a letter, you can at our website, theburnettwork.net. That said, Holly, I will say goodbye to you now. And thank you for being on the 20th episode of Midnight Metal. Yeah.